Hello, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am your host today, Luke, and we are here doing our episode entitled 1-1 Run Run. We are recording, of course, on 11/9/2018, Season 5, Episode 8, The One, The Only, Hard Home. Ooh. Listen to the Drinks and Knows podcast on Radio Public. It is free and easy to use. Plus, it helps other listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show on Radio Public's Android or iOS app, everyone benefits. Welcome. We are so glad you are here joining us here in the live chat, everyone. And as always, I am joined by Abby Gertie of House Condescension. What's up?
Hi, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Long time no see.
Yeah. If anyone noticed, we just did Abby's first time reaction video to Hard Home. Probably finished half an hour ago, if that.
Yeah.
And, so it's a little fresh for you.
Yeah. 40 minutes ago. So I'm down about 20 heartbeats per minute. So that's good news for everybody. I was really amped up like heartbreak is in my future. And wow, that just left me excited instead of like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm still, it's just a different, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, while you're basking in that, what are you drinking?
I'm such a, we're laying off tonight. I'm nursing it up tonight. I'm actually nursing. No, caring for somebody tonight.
Okay.
So,
acting as a nurse, not a wet nurse.
Yes. Yeah, not a wet nurse.
As always, we are also joined by Ben Slive House McLean. What's up, bud?
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. What are you drinking?
I quite literally have a mixed bag of booze. I went over to mom and dad's house and raided their basement fridge of a couple of their beers. So I have
likely been there since 4th of July and or
You have all my beers. Glenn had all my wine.
I have a Kahuna Beat Brewing Fire Rock Pale Ale going right now, but I have some Shock Top, I have some Budweiser, and I think there's a Malibu little lemonade thing in there somewhere too. So.
And you just finished up doing the live stream trivia on Citadel of Trivia, right?
Yes, we did. Westerosi Ninja took the win this week on it. Me and Felicia held a random draw 52 card pickup type trivia. And keep your eye out because it doesn't sound like it's going to be a one-off. So
all right,
it was definitely a fun time.
Cool. And we don't have Glenn of House Dog in studio yet. He might get here later like we did last time. But in his stead, very, very capable, probably better, our special guest, Living My Rhapsody. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I heard wow, that's my name. I'm here. Finally, it's here. Hard Home is here. Oh my gosh.
And you unmuted. Nice work.
Yes. I was staring at the button like for past 5 minutes. Like, there's the button. Press the button. Remember the button.
Well, we are so excited that you are here. What are you drinking?
As always, Corona.
Yes. Cerveza.
Mm-hmm.
So we will give a real quick reminder. We are spoiler-free for our first-time watcher on the wall. Abby, raise your hand. There she is.
That's me.
So please keep anything in the chat to this episode and previous. Nothing past the end of Hard Home. If you have any questions about this episode while we're going, feel free to throw them in the chat. We'll try to get to them. But we can't guarantee that we'll see them all. So with that being said, this show and all of our shows are supported. All of our shows at thepodcastthat.com are produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. Hey, friend of the show, that's you, LMR. Can you tell us about what some of your current projects are and where people can find you?
My projects. Currently, I'm in the mood for Doctor Who. And those of you who don't know who Doctor Who is, well, then I don't know how to help you. No, I do know. Sunday evenings, join a live stream, watch the show. What else do I do? I am trying to get people on the schedule to get more interviews. And 2 of you survived it. Thank you for joining me in the past. At some point, maybe we can find the whole group to come together, and that would be awesome. That would be one of my I would be looking forward to that definitely if I could have you all kind of chatting about that stuff. Other stuff, I will be doing more things on, many different things. Just find my channel and there's going to be some awesomeness. Yeah. Chats, mostly chats. I don't do videos because I leave it to professionals.
Definitely check out her.
I should add something. I'm sorry. I should add this because speaking of professionals, more videos on Game of Thrones that's going to be popping up on my channel. So that's next week. Yeah.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
Yeah.
I know I jumped in the chat on one of your Doctor Who. I think it was the first Doctor Who stream, and I promised that I would get caught up and join you. I've fallen behind, but I promise I will catch up and
that's
and
okay.
join you.
We forgive you. Life happens. Time. There's no time. This is to time Doctor Who. It's time traveling. But I get like life. We make plans and then life happens. All good. All good.
Right? It's just
I think that I followed LMR today on Twitter.
Yes, you did.
I did. And then I saw that you were like the special guest tonight. My life's been like a little bit super crazy lately, but more on that later, as Luke would say. But I was like, Oh, cool. Hey, I know that. I know that name. I'm gonna follow. Hopefully, there's not Game of Thrones spoilers too much. I'll just avoid. And then I saw the name tonight. I was like, oh my god, it's like I'm meeting a celebrity. This is great.
You're a celebrity. You're so funny. You're so cute. No, seriously. Being a celebrity, I always say Abby. I don't know how to do it. Everybody, Abby. I don't know. Just yeah.
Aw,
We were lucky to find her, and we're also related to her. So
she's unlucky, to be attached to us.
All right. So with all of those formalities out of the way, Abby, can you tell us what we talked about last week? I feel like we just did this last week.
Sure can try. So, Maester Aemon's watch has ended, and Sam gets rewarded for bravery. Sansa is not helped out by Theon. Mel seeks King's blood. Jorah and Tyrion make their way to the fighting pits in Meereen. The High Sparrow spars with Lady Olenna. Tommen is very frustrated, and Cersei is taken into custody. Bronn, he sings again. That's it. That's what happened.
And as last week, I also forgot my own. What am I drinking? I'm drinking Dunkel Down by O'Fallon Brewery, local here to St. Louis.
Dunkel Down?
Dunkel Down.
That could maybe be my doof.
Oh, I'm going to the wrong camera.
Kind of new one coming out. I want to try.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so many cameras around here. All right.
Yeah.
So, this again is episode 8 of season 5. It was right around 60 minutes. Not the 60 Minutes TV show, but it was actually the duration was 60 minutes.
60 minutes.
And it aired on May 31st, 2015. It was directed by Miguel Sapochnik, and it was written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Benj, what was that episode description?
Arya makes progress in her training. Sansa confronts an old friend. Cersei struggles. Jon travels.
Okay. Again, pretty vague, but they tend to be. Since I did the trivia last week, I am throwing it up to whoever has a question. Raise your hand if you have a question.
Ooh,
So we
pick me.
both came up with one, but I will defer to Abby.
Okay.
You both came up.
Are you ready?
Oh, okay. You both came up with the same question, or
I hope
But
so.
I threatened him. So
I hope
he
so
did.
because now I have an advantage.
Mm-hmm. We did not. We'll see. Ready, everybody? Get
All
your
right.
pens in.
LMR. Go to your box over there. Okay. And when you just type it in, don't hit enter until she says so.
All right. Ground rules. Okay, so we see Arya. Imagine that an Arya question. And she is talking to Jaqen about who she is and where she's going. She makes a left turn on what road?
That's a good question.
Hint, it was a wrong turn.
No, it wasn't a wrong turn. She was just told you were now going to turn right on this harbor.
Lied. Nope.
we'll talk about that later. All right, I guess thumbs up when you're ready. Benj, is that a thumbs up? Okay, I'm gonna play that music now.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You got him in.
All right.
Swept you. Taken to series. She makes a left turn onto Moon Singer Road.
Yeah.
Jaqen corrects her and says, no, you make a left onto, I believe it starts with an R. And he's like, this time you're going to make a right onto it. But this was the left that he made.
But this was the lie that she
Mm-hmm.
tried to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Very nice question. Well done. Well deserved points.
I watched that one time while Luke was watching me watch it. You might want to fact check it.
We'll count it, and I mean,
none of us were close.
Yeah, so. No, it wasn't. No. There's no argument here. I'm comfortable with you getting a point on this.
Yes,
I guarantee none of our answers were them.
Can I go with mine with no points on the board?
Sure.
No points available. So mine was that I'd come up with Ramsey's words: "We hit first and hit hard, and what?"
I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't realize you were asking your question. Sorry.
Yeah, Ramsey's words to his father: "We hit first, we hit hard, and what?"
Do you want us to answer it, type it, or just say it?
And yeah, just say it if you know it.
Leave the feast for the crows, I think.
Yeah, he says the name of the book.
That's it. Yep, and leave a feast for the crows. Yep.
That's
so yours was way better. Yeah, but hers was way better.
I think so too, because I got the point. I wouldn't have another way around.
Yeah. And I would. Well, you would have, because Elamar would have gotten you the point for mine. So
true.
Win-win. 1-1.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and kick off this episode where we are starting in Meereen. Daenerys interview. We have Dany, Missandei, Jorah, and Tyrion, plus a bunch of other random people on the sides, mostly unsullied. But Daenerys interviews the young lion and seeks advice on what to do with Jorah. Abby, why don't you kick us off here?
I just think it's such a high stakes answer that he has to give. He has to prove he's intelligent, thinking, not just, fully, the whole situation fully. I think he does a really good job of doing that. And I just don't know how Jorah's still there. I don't know. Like, she's mad at him, and she's asked multiple times, should I kill him? Isn't she the Dragon Queen?
Well,
I don't know.
I guess the only thing I think of is, like, how many times has she, like, waffled back to, like, she wished Jorah was there again kind of thing? Right? She's, like, said that specifically, should I really have done this in the first place? And now it's kind of like a second chance that maybe I do want him back kind of thing because it's beneficial.
If my advisor, this person who's kind of been brought to me, and says, yeah, that's a good idea, I have, like, some confirmation, another person saying, yeah, it's a good idea. I just think it's funny, like, she just is like, we should kill him in front of him all the time. Get away from me.
Like, do I want to kill him today? It's a good question, though, Ab. Elamar, what are your thoughts on this scene here?
It must have been really difficult for Jorah to just stand there, like, just wait for her mercy or her, dying, like, just kill me now type of thing, like, oh my god. And then when Tyrion says that, yeah, he's in love with you, I would be like, just kill me now. Kill me or take me, I don't know, like, say yes to me or just kill me right now. And he just stood there. Tyrion did well, and Dany looked like she's not sure what to do. Like, she looked like she seriously needed advice from him. Like, she looked desperate for advice. So he did give the good advice to her. So good for Tyrion for not fainting. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna put me, back to where I was. Yeah. So everybody did good. Missandei was awfully quiet.
Yeah.
And awfully pretty.
Oh, very.
Yeah, Tyrion, I mean, really kind of put on the spot here, right? And I think he does a pretty fair job of assessing the situation. He's got some information on who all the players here are, but it's not like he knows the ins and outs of everything that's happened. He's kind of deduced a lot of this, and I think he gives some pretty solid points of, yeah, he's incredibly, like, probably insanely loyal to you, and he's likely in love with you, but, I mean, he also did betray you, and when you go, invade Westeros, you can't really have that on your team. Benj, what'd you get out of this?
Your Grace, we've only just met. it's far too soon to know if you deserve my service. Look at the big balls on Big T there.
Who's got
I mean,
the biggest balls of them all?
He's like, he just comes in, and that's the way to kind of shut her down. And sorry, my dog's deciding to be let in. But he's just like, I'm going to own this. I'm going to walk in this room. I'm going to own this room, and I'm going to make you know that you deserve to, you need to deserve to have me. I don't need to deserve to keep you, to let me live. He already knows that he could easily be killed, but it's like all or nothing. That's it. And I love this scene from him of it. He puts her in her place.
Well, it's a little bit like showing up to a job interview when you already have a job. Like, you're just like, I have literally nothing to lose here. I mean, what are you going to do? Kill me? Like, in his mind, he doesn't care at this point. He's like, and we'll get to it. It kind of happens in a scene later, but he's, what are you going to do to me? Kill me? Fine. Like, I probably earned it. Like, whatever. What I'm going to do is challenge you because you probably haven't really been challenged. And like I've been saying, this girl needs some help. and Tyrion knows it. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to be blunt and give her advice because she's specifically asking for it too. So, I really liked the line where Tyrion's like, a ruler who kills those who are devoted to her is not a ruler who inspires devotion. It's a great sentiment, like, hey, if you just go and kill the people that are most loyal to you, even if they've done wrong for whatever reason, like, that's not going to get many people on your team in the long run, kind of deal. Also, super props to Tyrion for updating his pronouns in that statement. He uses, her, and she doesn't say a ruler who he's very clear that I'm talking about you, a woman ruler, and I think
he could be talking about Cersei too.
Well, yeah, and that's true. That could be.
He could be using her as like a mental.
Yeah, that's true. Switch. But really, really good scene. I like where this is headed with these two. So, any other thoughts on this here? We do yeah, go for it.
Oh, Tyrion just saying that he's the biggest Lannister killer of them all. I'm like, oh yeah, yes you are, yes you are.
I killed my mother in childbirth, and I put a bolt through my father. I'm the best Lannister killer there ever was.
That's scary. Can you imagine somebody who can kill? I mean, obviously he killed the mother because he didn't know he's gonna die, and killed the father, and gosh, God knows what else he's done. Like, yeah, do I want him on my team or do I want him on my team? I don't know.
I mean, there was Alton Lannister that Jaime killed. How many more Lannisters has he gotten?
I'd say Rob probably has quite a few under his belt.
we know Karstark has 2 young ones under his belt.
Yeah.
There you go.
And what's his name? The idiot Edmure.
Edmure Tully.
Yeah, he killed mountain men. He didn't kill Lannisters.
He just captured them.
Yeah.
For a mill.
Abby's always gonna be sour on Edmure Tully just because of the actor.
Yeah. Sorry.
I did think in that same line that you brought up, LMR, of he's the greatest Lannister killer of all. She calls him out on that. It's like, oh, so I want basically someone who kills their own family on my team. Like, it's kind of a no-win situation. He's like, yeah, I kill Lannisters, and she's like, well, that's your family. Like, that's not really cool either. So kind of good on her to hear what he's saying, but still kind of put the ball of challenge back in his court. Kind of
At
deal.
least question it.
Right. Like, we know you're traitorous in some ways, and let's see if you can talk your way out of that one.
Join my team.
Right. Luckily, there's no Lannisters on it. So we have our next scene here in Meereen. At the very end of this, we see Jorah being banished, and he walks out of the gates. We then have...
And looks at the grayscale.
Yeah, and he looks at his grayscale wrist. That is correct.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I added an extra scene in there. I apologize. That one's not supposed to be there. There you go.
So we have Daenerys, Tyrion, and Jorah and the pit boss coming up as well. Tyrion and Dany drink some wine and discuss the future as terrible children breaking the wheel. And later on, Jorah offers his service back to the pit boss. Benj, kick us off here.
See, Luke, I will give you full credit. You have been right. You've been saying she needs help. and he's here now. This is the help that Danny has needed. She needs somebody who's going to talk to her honestly and openly and guide her properly, and this is one of the I shouldn't say very few, but this is one of those scenes from Danny where it's like she did absolutely I'm saying Emilia Clarke, like the way it was portrayed was so powerful. She's like, Lannisters, Starks, Targaryens, Tyrells, it's all on the wheel. And Tyrion goes, oh, stopping the wheel. Many have tried. I don't want to stop the wheel. I want to break the wheel. And it's like, oh, damn. What does she mean by that? Because if she's saying she wants to break the wheel, that means she's giving up her power too. Is she willing to do that? That's the way at least I read it. And like from this scene, she's like, I don't care. People, a person doesn't need to be in charge, and that's what breaking the wheel for the most part would mean, at least in my opinion. So for her to say that, that's huge because she's giving up, at least I don't have to be the one in charge. No one should be the one in charge.
I don't know if I get that from it necessarily. But I want to get Abby's take on it because that was definitely a line that during our first time watch that Abby seemed like she got some goosebumps for.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts here, Ab?
Well, actually, I have to agree with Benji on 2 points here. So this is exciting, but
it happens.
It does
happen. Actually happen often. But that same line you're speaking about, they're all spokes on the wheel, one over the other, and my comment about it was we talked about it before when Danny has given speeches and they just don't resonate with the power of maybe say a Davos giving the speech or Eddard giving the speech because they have these commanding voices, and Luke used the word like inherently within us we're just dispositioned to take that male deep voice as this like commanding. But this right here, I was like, that was commanding. She got me. Like, I was like, heck yeah. I don't know like what was different about it or her delivery. It just was very, very well done. And I really liked that. I also within this scene had kind of that same thing you did with Tyrion, not comparing her to Cersei, but he does say that you're impressive, which I think he thinks his sister's impressive in or could be impressive if she would kind of get over. But for him to look at her and admit that, not admit, but be like, look, maybe you are worth this. Maybe this is what I was hoping for or whatever. It kind of gives me like the Tyrion stamp of approval has leveled Danny up to me. Like, like her, not that I ever thought she couldn't take Westeros, but right now I'm like, oh, like we're getting powerhouse. She's been kind of building blocks, and we're right there, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that she's done a pretty good job of becoming a conqueror, right? I mean, that's exactly what her skill set has been. We've seen her take cities without really even trying. I mean, she's got these huge power pieces, the dragons, which are only getting more powerful. She's got the Unsullied, who she's learning how to use better and better, and she's got the Second Sons, and I mean, all of these pieces.
But at the same time, she's still not holding power properly.
Right, and so she hasn't learned how to actually rule, and that's what she's been struggling with in Meereen, which is why I keep saying that's why I was being so adamant about being annoying about it. She needs some help.
She isn't sitting there doing the whole like this is what we're gonna do the whole time. She seeks advice, whether she takes it or not. So she's coachable, guys. I love a coachable person. There's nothing more in this world that I like better.
Well, the reason I bring up the ruling thing, like you said, Luke, is because you think it makes me reminiscent of Rob. He's like, I've won every single battle I've been in, but I'm losing this damn war. Mm-hmm. And Dany's kind of in the same position. She's won every single battle they've been a part of, but if you look at it, she's not, ruling properly. She's not, being guided the way that she needs. So
Right.
yeah, this is a huge, step for her.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at like on paper, the choices that she's made, she's always made the righteous choice, right? I mean, the proper choice. It might not be the most politically savvy choice. And we've seen that backfire on her over and over again. And there's still very few people in the area, the whole Slaver's Beta, that are really supporting her. And I think that all kind of ties into itself there. One thing I really noticed as well was her reaction to Lord Varys, right? I mean, because this is right after the scene where her and Jorah have another little tiff, and she's like, Varys was the one that was getting the secrets from Jorah. Like, how could he be any better? And Tyrion's like, he's the one that kind of sent me to you. So, like, let's change perspective on that a little bit. Like, he's decent.
I think Dany is very black and white, and Tyrion is 50 Shades of Grey. So, I just hope that I don't like the game players. I don't like the microfingers. I do like Varys now. I didn't like him at first, but I do like him now. But hopefully she can get a little bit of that, befriending enemies or figuring out who do you trust? What games do you play? And it makes me sad because she wants to break it. Stop playing games. Just win the damn thing. Come on, Dany.
Elamar, thoughts here?
Yeah, I wondered how did she know to call him the Spider? I don't remember his name him being called that before, and she just called him that.
I think maybe Viserys would have called him that because it's kind of not a very nice name, and we know that the lens that Dany grew up with, which was all basically through Viserys, it tended to be not very favorable or fair to or kind to anyone in Westeros that had to do with basically the kings, the whole court and everything. So I don't think it would be any surprise for her. To me, it's not a big surprise that she would know that.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of surprised just because she used it like in a sentence just describing him. But also I wondered why I mean she was never it was always her brother, right, who was supposed to be the king. So she was just there in his shadow, and somehow she was learning to to be the person she is. So yeah, I see her as somebody who learns, hopefully, she will listen how she's supposed to listen, to not just make the decisions based on somebody's advice, but kind of make it her own, like you said, mentioning whoever gives her advice to listen to everybody, but then make your own decisions. But it's good of her that she actually does listen, that she's not just too stubborn to do her own thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's still learning.
Yeah, so I think we're all kind of agreeing that she's putting herself in a pretty good position, and we know how talented Tyrion is, and he even says specifically, like, I've been in the exact situations of having to kill people. I was pretty good at it when I was Hand. There's a lot more to it, and I'm also really good at that. Like, this is the time to go ahead and toot your own horn a bit, Tyrion, and I think he's doing a good job of not overselling it. We know he's telling the truth, and he's being completely honest with where he's been, what he has to offer her, and hey, I know you need me. Like, do you deserve my effort? Which is what he keeps coming back to, and he kind of has that, I don't know, coming to the dragon type moment of, Varys might be right about you. You might be, kind of the bee's knees.
But also, he in the back of his mind, he's like, she could still be the other flip of the coin of the Targaryen and be a nut, be a nut job.
True.
But going back to your point on that, in this conversation, Luke, like you said, it's that interview for a job that you don't need. You wouldn't mind it. It'd be nice, but
sure, probably a pay bump. I'm happy enough.
Qualified.
You don't, and that's exactly how he's playing the scene. Is here's what I can offer you. Take it or leave it. Great. And then when she says, I want you to advise me, he was actually kind of shocked. He's like, I've been kind of fucking this interview up. Like, he's been kind of doing the meeting of the Bobs from Office Space. Well, what do you actually do here?
What would you say you do
I work
here?
maybe 20 minutes a day. That's about it.
I go out the back door so Lumber doesn't see me.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, I want you to advise me. That's kind of what I mean. He was a bit more, diplomatic and everything, but the way he was playing it was like, I don't really care. I'm here to drink. That's it. Give me some wine, and I'll pass out in that puddle of vomit over there.
But she does put a halt on that too. She says, "I need you to be able to speak in complete sentences."
Yeah, I like that.
It's the same power move that Tywin did to him.
True.
And I think he respects that. He might not like it, but I think he respects it when somebody tells him no. That's something that gets his respect. When somebody
says a distraction. If she's saying, "Hey, I can keep you fully engaged enough," which it's kind of like that. She's hitting the mental, key triggers for him, and he's realizing that he doesn't need to drink to numb over the nuisance of life, basically.
Exactly.
Abby, what was your point that you were getting to?
I did wonder about Tyrion says, "Oh, you're gonna stop the wheel." Many have tried. Who else has tried? Or I don't know. I'm not within
the Baratheons, because you try to stop the wheel when your peg's up top. That's what he was saying, is you're going to stop the wheel from spinning,
All right.
So like the Baratheons, the Targaryens, the Tyrell, or the Lannisters.
That's what, okay. I took it a little wrong. I think
there's a couple ways you can kind of interpret it. I think of it a little bit differently than Benj. I don't really want to unpack it right here because I haven't fully thought through it enough, and I'll just be rambling more than anything. Yeah. But I think there's a few other ways that you can think about it. So Abby, you're probably not wrong either. We're all right.
Thanks.
Nice job, everyone. Thanks. Look at us. We're even getting along too. Elamar, you're such a good influence on us.
No.
All right.
Oh wow! Everybody behaves because I'm here. Ouch. Let's not behave because I'm here.
It's also still early. We'll
see how it goes.
Okay. All right.
So that will do it for Marine. We are going to head to King's Landing for some of. Here we have some photos of. Well, let's talk about Jorah for a second too. He basically goes and says, "I want to fight back in the main stadium because I'll be fighting in front of the Queen," and I guess he wants to prove himself. And he kind of comes out and says, "If I win, I'm yours. Like basically, you can own me, right?"
Kind of. It was if I win, I get to fight for the Queen. That was his whole thing. And you get to own me, but I get to. It was I want to fight for whoever will let me fight for him, and you're my first person that I know I can go to, kind of thing. But I mean, yeah, he's basically selling himself out. He's like, "Fuck it, I don't care. You can have my winnings. I just want to be close to Dany again."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Final thoughts on Jorah? All right, then let's. Go for it.
Sorry, see that button? It oh gosh, I'm gonna have nightmares about this unmute button. No, for Jorah, what I wanted to add is like the note that I had for him is that he used to sell, he's been doing this and now he's done it to himself, like repaid the thing he sold himself versus other. Yeah,
that's right. It's kind of come full circle for him a little bit. Like, yes, he sold slaves. Yes, he was captured and sold as a slave, and now he's choosing to sell himself back into it, like again. Like it's
exactly.
And he actually didn't even sell himself. He bought his way in. He paid the guy to take him.
He threw the wage back to him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So,
but that's a good. But Dog makes that point.
Yeah, I will agree with that. That makes sense. All right, let's go to King's Landing. These were some of Abby's favorite scenes, I remember, in our watch. And there she is. Look at her.
That's the girl.
I think it's fandom's too. I think it's fandom's favorite scenes.
Oh, man.
So we have Cersei and Septa Unella, who, again, we know hasn't actually been named, but that's who it is. Cersei is getting used to her new digs in the Sept. Elamar, why don't you kick us off here?
I feel for her a little bit. She's sitting on that nasty, dirty floor in those not so pretty clothes. Her hair is all messed up. That beautiful Lannister gold hair is just kind of dirty and just not well kept. Ouch. Let's just say this way. I feel for her a little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
I feel for her too. A lot, and then I remember who she is, and I'm like, no, I don't, but I do. But I don't.
Right?
But I do. It's like where I with
It's
the
dirty
whole.
and it's cold. Like it's just dirty and cold. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, and she brought it on herself like the whole time. Like, I don't know. I go back and forth. She's a complicated character, guys. She's complicated.
You mean there's complicated characters in this show? No.
Yes, there is. Let me tell you. I don't
Benj.
know.
It's kind of a dick move. I mean, I get it. She's trying to torture her, confess, you can have water, blah, blah, blah. But really, I mean, that breaks so many like Geneva Conventions, and you can't just straight up refuse, somebody something like, just liquid like that. There's other ways to torture. Give her the water, don't give her food, or give her minimum amounts of food. Give her too much food, make her eat, force her to feed, drink over water her, waterboard her, but it's, one of those, if you're going to torture, don't, because here's the thing, dehydration, that's one of the quickest ways to actually kill someone. If you're trying to actually, it only takes a couple days for dehydration, really,
It's 2 days. 2 minutes without air, 2 days without water, and 2 weeks without food. It might be freeze. I don't really know.
No, and
one or the other.
That's very
the sequence makes the sequence holds up.
So it's one of those, if you're not going for killing her, then fuck off, give her a drink, but beat her ass, but give her a drink of water. That's just, I don't know. I feel for Cersei in this scene. Even as shitty of a person as she is, there's still guidelines for human stuff decency. You have to. There's human decency. Yeah.
Like the deprivation to force confession is pretty problematic. I'm not going to say I'm an expert in torture techniques or anything like that, because I'm absolutely not. Don't quote me on that. But like Benji was saying, it's a pretty dangerous thing to start doing, that quick. I mean, we've seen her load up on wine a lot, so she's probably, pretty well hydrated for a while. She'll be okay. But just the idea of the forcing a confession and the lack of human decency seems quite counterintuitive to the kind of line that the religion really should stand for, right?
My biggest problem with all of this.
You have a problem with all of this?
Yes. Like their sins, they're going to repent for them. Or whatever they want them to do, confess to them. And I guess other people have confessed their sins, but you're going to put people in cells. That's what your religion wants. I mean, other religions like burn people and do things. So who am I to judge?
And also, forced confession is really, I mean, you can force somebody into confessing anything, but is that the actual truth?
We've all seen Making a Murderer.
Yeah, come on.
It's
right?
just
exactly. That's actually exactly where I was thinking, So it's forced confessions. Just
there's other ways. She's pretty much done it all. I mean,
they're technically correct, which is the best kind of correct, but it doesn't. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole. Going with a Big Lebowski reference on that one. So it's kind of,
you're just an asshole.
You're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
And there's no way that you're right. Like it's kind of poor information that they're going off of for some of the charges against her.
Because they're using Lancel, who's to say that Cersei, when they weren't fucking 10 years old, pantsed him down by the river and laughed at his, tiny little wing, and laughed at him, hold a grudge for 15 years and hey, here's my payback.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe we'll get that scene here soon that Lancel comes out and he says, "This is really why I'm doing this."
We need that flashback.
Yeah, I think we'll get that. No spoilers or anything, Abby, but that might be coming up at some point.
I'm not listening. I'm reading my what are these called?
Post-it
note. Oh. No, my post-it notes.
LMR thoughts? Anything else on this portion of it? We've got a few more scenes just like this.
I was wondering, like, what would the chat like to see Lancel's scene? I'm like, I would not. If that was the joke, like, I do not want to see that on screen. Yeah.
Flashback to see that.
No.
I will say, Lancel season 5 way better looking than Lancel season 1. He aged up well.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
He got a haircut.
Yeah, got a
Even with that
haircut.
scar, even
Doesn't
with
look as bushy. Yeah, even with the star.
yeah. You know, men with scars. I don't know. I don't know.
Especially
but maybe not a star
self-inflicted
in the middle
carving
of your forehead.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
He went on
Forget
the
face
Jacob
tattoos.
Wolf diet.
Face tattoos are out. Face carving is in, baby. Thens,
All right,
baby.
let's move on.
Yeah, let's talk about Cersei and Qyburn. And Cersei learns about the charges against her and her upcoming trial. So Tommen, she learns, is not taking this very well. That basically her and Marjorie are both locked up in custody, and he's not eating. Right? I mean, that's he's not doing that well.
He's not a king.
Do you think it's Cersei being locked up that's really put him over the edge, or if it's finally just Marjorie that?
I think it's his reasoning of not having any control. Like he realizes how obsolete and there's
That's
nothing
fair.
he can do.
I see a lot of head nodding from LMR. You wanna jump on that?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine you're the king, and then your wife is taken away, and your mother is taken away, and this dude who just kind of looks like somebody without power because he barely has any clothes on, just this rag on him, and maybe shoes, if I'm not mistaken, and he takes over your whole life. Ouch. Just ouch. Burn.
Say what you want about Joffrey. This would never have happened to Joffrey.
Yeah.
He would have
Oh
killed
yeah.
him.
Oh yeah.
There's
He would
something-
he would kill him, revive him, kill him again, and he like on and on and on and on. Just
Yeah,
for the heck of it. Yeah.
Hell, this wouldn't have happened to the previous character previous Lannister Tommen played.
the one that Karstark killed.
Yeah.
Second time we've referenced
The Karstarks.
yeah, and those two little Lannister boys.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. Apparently, I don't listen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Try to keep up over here.
Same actor when they changed
I
Tommen.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Nice job.
That
Adam.
you
Way to
explained
catch
it
up.
to me.
So
Benj, take it away.
do you think Qyburn meant there is a way out when she says there is a way out and she goes, what, confess? Do you think he meant confess and like just lie and confess or whatever? Or do you think he might have meant there's another way? And I'm thinking there could have been two ways. I got a trick up my sleeve,
Or I can give
or
you
you
a
can
pill.
just die.
Yep.
You know, you could take that way out and just do that. You know, I think she cut him off and he didn't get the chance to expand. But personally, I think he didn't mean confess when he said there's another way or there's, the way out.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other options. I don't think he's going to try to smuggle her out, which
No.
potentially could fit into the way that it's said. But I really don't think that's an option. Ab?
I agree with you, Benj, that that's not necessarily what he meant. It actually will lead to my first prediction. More on that later on.
More on that later.
All right.
Kevin McLannister from Home Alone is now acting as Regent, Hand of the King, right? And any thoughts on him assuming power?
This is good because Tommen needed help.
He needed some help.
Sorry.
Get this boy some help.
God.
LMR.
I just can't get that. Was it Kevin's? It's spelled differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just his
Kavan.
face, Kavan. Yeah, I'm like, when I close my eyes, I see his face, and like, he wanted that power, I think, and he's like, yes, I can do this now. Like, I can do it. And Tommen is like, just take it. I can just imagine him like, take it, and the go and just takes it and does his thing, but which is kind of, whatever he does. Yeah.
I feel like Kevin might be more focused on actually trying to help Tommen the way it seemed like Tywin was going. Yes, Tywin was going to be the one ruling, but he was also grooming Tommen. And I feel
Tywin
like
had to die at some point.
I feel like Kevin is gonna do similar to that, like just because he is essentially Tywin's second hand. I mean, for years and years and years, so he knows what Tywin would have done. And I think he highly respected Tywin and would try to mimic what he thinks, WWTD. What would Tywin do?
What would Tywin do? That's how I live my life.
I know you do. And
Slaying bodies.
You need to stop killing entire families, Abby.
Sorry.
I've really been meaning to talk to you about that. It's I didn't mean to put this out on the air, but the word's getting out. Any final thoughts on Qyburn? Elmar, you have a good one of Qyburn's good lines here. I saw.
Oh yeah, let's see. I wrote, belief is often the death of reason. Yeah, actually, I wanted for you to explain it to me. I mean, I had my thoughts on it, but then I wonder, because he was talking about others, right? Like they are thinking about like there's no reason because they have their faith, their belief is there's zero reasoning with them.
Yeah,
because you cannot do anything. You cannot persuade them. You cannot do anything because this is what they believe in, and they're gonna do what they do.
Yeah, because when you believe, you don't have to know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, that's the easiest.
Because you gotta have faith. Let's talk about it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Okay, I was going with the either Limp Bizkit or George. Oh, what's his name?
No idea.
From Wham, George, not Boy George.
Yeah.
Because you gotta have faith.
That's
what he was singing. That's what Abby was saying.
That sounded different, like the second line of it. Sorry, my bad. Okay, anyway.
Probably a country song if I'm singing it.
George Michael, thank you, Milt. 4 more points to Milt tonight. Good
Bonus.
All right, so let's keep moving along, and let's talk about Cersei and Septa Unella again. So we have another series of scenes with these two becoming fast friends, I believe. Cersei's resolve is tested by deprivation again, but she will not confess. Ab.
Cersei, is this the one where she's like, I'm not kidding. I am going to kill you.
I keep imagining all of these ways that I'm going to kill you.
Like, it is so harsh and hateful and completely true. Like, I kind of respect that a little bit about her. Like, that takes some toughness. Cersei is definitely tough.
Yeah.
But
Benj?
So 2 notes. I love the line from Cersei when Unella starts smacking her around, and she's like, "I told you, my face could be the last one." And she gets smacked because she's just not bending. And that goes into my second note. They say Stannis is nothing but iron, but Cersei is the real one who will never bend. Like, she will break far faster than she will ever bend if it's not her way. Like, she'll make concessions when it's ideal, but it's very much, it's always in her power. Even in this instance, she's like, fuck you, kill me, I don't care, you're not going to win. And licking the water off the floor just kind of solidifies that.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing that I really picked up was, someone's really gonna need some chapstick. She's pretty dehydrated, and her lips look pretty crusty as far as I can tell. But she's gonna need some chapstick before she gets a chance to really go out there and kill anybody. She's making these promises, but you're not doing that with chapped lips. That's just not gonna happen.
Nah.
That's a distraction that nobody needs. Brought to you by Blistex. No. Elmar, what are your thoughts?
Sponsored by Blistex, yes. Yet, but if you know somebody from Blistex, we'd love to hear from them, or whatever Luke always says.
We're not sponsored by Blistex yet.
Oh, yeah, yet. Somebody somewhere at one of the streams made a joke that the only cure for those blistering lips is basically your head has to come off. I mean, that's it. That's all. I think that was a reference to the episode 1 where he was running all this time, and what's his name? I forgot his name. The one who deserted. And he got his head cut off first episode, or his lips were really chapped. Yeah, his lips were really chapped. So the only way to resolve it was to cut off his head. That's all. But I guess my notes for this would be, I was assuming that Cersei would be better at playing this whole game. I mean, sometimes you just gotta if you're faced with something dangerous that's kind of standing in the way of wherever you need to get, you just sing the song. Sing a song and smile, back away, nod. Yes, yes, of course, this and that, and just do your thing. Sometimes, I mean, it's bad because, you're kind of seen as somebody who's weak, but if it gets you where you need to be, if you need to play that game, then you need to play that game. So
just keep your head down and get through.
Yep, and then do whatever you want to do after.
Were you singing Hakuna Matata there, Benj?
No, I was saying just keep swimming.
Okay,
just keep
that
swimming.
works too. Yeah, that works too. Final thoughts on these Cersei and the Faith and Qyburn scenes?
Those ladies are terrifying. Like, they just are.
That's one big bitch.
I just... Like, could you imagine that standing over your bed? Like, you woke up and that... Like, I'm talking about right now in your real life. I would die right there of a heart attack. I just... No. And it's not even necessarily who they are in this show. It's just everything about the darkness around them. And, oh, man. They give me a good creep factor.
I like how you said, can you imagine that standing over your bed? I'm gonna have nightmares now. I need more Coronas to kind of get my mind.
It just made me think though. I would love to see Unella face to face with Brienne.
Brienne for sure. Oh,
well, I'm just saying,
height-wise.
like height-wise, like because I know we're seeing everything from Unella from the downward perspective, make her look bigger, but it's one of those. She's an intimidating force, imposing.
Yes,
formidable. Yes,
formidable. I like it.
All right. So let's go ahead and head over to wait, real quick shout out to Chrissy of Old Stones for, I think what the new name for this character needs to be is Septa Umbrella. I think that's pretty well stated. That is going into the notes.
To the log.
Yep, that is going in the list of nicknames for future use on the podcast that drinks and knows things. Awesome stuff. So let's go to Bravos, where we see Arya and Jaqen, the Waif, and the Thin Man. Arya reports her recent findings in the city and tells of selling oysters, clams, and cockles. And I have to run upstairs real quick, so chat amongst yourselves.
Oyster, clams, and cockles. Elamar, you can start off with this one.
Alrighty, with her, I felt sorry because it's like, okay, she's sitting there and I don't know what he was hitting her with, but it's like for anything, like, dude, I'm just telling you what I do. I turn here, boom. I'm like, is she just gonna go completely quiet at some point, but afraid of talking because he's gonna smack her for saying something?
Yeah,
it hurt me.
And that's the thing. That was her playing the game of faces, the game of lies, and he caught her in lie. She says, "I go down here and Abby, what was the street?"
On I don't even remember.
Okay, well, I turn.
Moonsinger.
Yeah, I turn left on Moonsinger Way, and he smacked. I turned right on Moonsinger's Way.
No, she turns right onto Roy something with an R. The road was wrong.
Yeah, and so she was trying to lie to him to, convince him, but he read it, and so that's the point of it, to kind of help her learn her tics, learn her facial tics, and her giveaways.
She has to be able to lie.
What's that?
She has to be able to lie.
Yeah, she has to be able to lie. You have to be able to hide it. Yeah, you can't, really, go on with it. But I mean, yeah, it seems unfair if you don't really understand, what's going on. It's like, why is he hitting her? That's kind of bullshit. You turned, like, you made a wrong turn. No, she got caught in a lie, and I like the scene itself. It adds to kind of what she's going through for training wise. Abby, what's your thoughts?
I like Jaqen when he was Arya's hitman. I don't like Arya as Jaqen's hitman. That's my issue. I just feel like I don't know what they are. Are they hitmen? Are they... And I've seen them, what I perceive to be, like, giving death out of mercy. It's not always a murdering thing with them. And I understand that, but I just... Like, what if she didn't want to kill this guy? I don't know. It just feels like she doesn't have choices, and I get it. You're a faceless man. You're no one. So... still a little Not lost. I just don't like it, I think.
Think back to the early Jockin stuff that we had, where he basically tells Arya, you took 3 lives from the God of Death, and he had to basically pay those back with 3 lives back. So
right.
I don't know if you've thought back specifically on like what he was forcing her to do then. Like,
yeah, I guess so.
I don't know if that'll change your perspective on it at all.
Yeah. And then also
was convenient for us then.
Him and the Waif kind of talk about too. Sorry, Abby, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
But him and the Waif kind of talk about where she's like, she'll fail, and he's like, it's all the same to the many-faced God,
Because the person, or somebody will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke, go ahead with your thought on it.
So yeah, it seems like she's learning a bit, right? We know she was kind of put in, as we called it, like upper middle management last time, a little more responsibility, and it seems like again there's kind of more responsibility being bestowed upon her, and she's gaining some trust with Jock, and she might not necessarily be figuring things out, but she's at least figuring out how to survive there a bit, and I feel like she's starting to get it, even though she might still feel confused about it.
Yeah. I am also confused about whoever you called Waif. Like, who are you? You're not Jockin. I don't really think you're in charge. Maybe you are in charge. Maybe I don't know. I don't know, obviously. But
and in fairness, we call her the Waif because that's a book name. She's never been named in the show.
Right.
Yeah.
But think of her as like someone in the position that Arya is kind of being put into as well. Like Arya's being put up to this person's level, and maybe there's some jealousy. Maybe it's like, hey, why is this going differently for Arya for this no one than it was for me? I think on the just taking the cream off the top of what we've seen, that's I think pretty easy to kind of say that's a main driving force for that character.
That's kind of how I felt, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm missing something. Like I don't know if
for what you've seen, I don't think you're missing anything.
Ari's there.
Yeah.
I always wondered why, because Arya never actually wanted to learn anything. She was the one who's like, oh, I'm not going to sit through this. I'm not going to do the lessons or anything. And all of a sudden she's like all happy about listening and just being completely like a servant. I kind of never got it. I mean, she wanted to belong, but at home, she never wanted to follow any rules, 0 rules for Arya. And now she's like to the point of just, this is what you do now. This is what you do now. And you do have to do this. Don't question me. So I'm just wondering, like, where's Arya, heading with that, and how is she doing it?
Benj?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's a great point. I thought you were kind of going with she didn't want to put in the work at the Black House of Black and White, because originally she was like, I've been cleaning these bodies, and I've been here for over a month. I should be on the cash register by this point. But yeah, you're going back all the way to like Winterfell times. You're absolutely right. It's that growth in character of her kind of learning, okay, I need to shut up. I need to do the work, and maybe I'll get the payout that I'm looking for, kind of growing up a bit, figuring out. But you're absolutely right. It's still in her nature of, I don't want to do what I'm told to do. I want to do what I want to do. And we know that just from her hiding, Needle back last season.
One slight nit I want to pick with something that LMR just said was she didn't like to learn things at all growing up. It was more the things that she didn't find practical that she had problems with. She was always for learning how to sword fight, how to do archery, things that she valued. The needlework, pun intended, which we know what that turned into, she didn't respect that because she knew, hey, that's not me. So it's hard, it makes sense to kind of think, it gets frustrated by people telling her what to do. But if it's something that she understands or sees the practicality in it, I think she's all for wanting to know how to do it and how to become the fucking best at it. Is at least my take on how easily she is motivated to want to learn in a way that she seems useful.
Yeah, it actually is great because in a way, like I always thought, how can you contain Arya? Because she's pure. I don't want to call her fire, but she's pure energy. She's this raw everything. and to contain her, but they're not containing her. She's learning how to contain herself for the right moment and just to kind of channel whatever she has, not to just be like this exploding star at all times, just kind of channel it. So yeah, you're right, completely right. She's growing, she's developing how to harness that energy, how to keep it in, and I guess release it whenever necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
I think she's learning some skills that can make her definitely more dangerous.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with my note on this last bit of it with concerning the Thin Man. But basically, the Thin Man's an insurance broker. You know, he takes the wager of, is the ship gonna make it? Is it not? And oh wait, you have a pre-existing condition. Nope. So even back in medieval times, those guys were fucking dicks and just fucking people over whenever they could. Sorry to all the insurance brokers out there, but it's one of those, kind of things of it is a gamble, it is a risk, but at the same time, he's using calculator risk, but I can see why a family of like a ship captain would say, this guy owes us. We paid him this amount of money. My husband died. We need it. We need retribution and we didn't get it. And it's happened more than once. So, I mean, it sucks for him that his name's on the list, but
Sucks for him. He's a jerk. But
yeah, but he was nice to Arya. That's the other thing. That's the problem that, I could see down the line. He was nice to her, that, he treated her well, but she saw him treat other people bad. So it's kind of one of those, I could see there being a conflict.
It depends on Arya's personal growth in what
Right.
she's learning, because every person that she's had a problem with has done something directly to her or her family, right? Everyone on her
Exactly.
list has been specifically chosen, as opposed to what the Faceless Men are teaching her, being, you don't get to choose. That's not
Exactly.
your position.
Yeah. So that's all I had.
Abby, final thoughts?
It's that not having a choice, I think, that doesn't sit well with me. And I don't think it's going to sit well with Arya forever.
And a question for you, because it said something about it's all the same to the many-faced gods. Like, so let's say, what does it matter? I mean, does it matter who she kills as long as she gives them a body?
Well,
Do you
I think
What do you think about
it's
that?
either it has to be the Thin Man or Arya dies because she
Okay.
fails in it. At least that's kind of how I
and she
look
dies
at
in
it.
service to the many-faced god, so he gets to
Okay.
claim that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how I read it, at least.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to go to Winterfell?
Yep.
We'll take a Jojen plane, hop on over, and we'll see Sansa, Theon, Roose, Ramsay, and a Bolton War Council. Sansa learns about Theon's crimes and punishments, while Roose and Ramsay discuss tactics. So, I mean, I think the big takeaway, if we want to jump right into it, Theon confesses that he didn't kill Bran and Rickon. She really kind of forces it out of him and is quite surprised at that. I know, Abby, on your first time watch through, you were like, I didn't remember that Sansa didn't know.
It wasn't like some huge big reveal to me, which when he says it in the scene, it feels like such this huge reveal. Obviously, that's a huge reveal to her. I just, instead of being like, oh, like, yeah, she's gonna know, I was kind of like, oh, wait, you didn't know that? Oh, BT dub. Like, again, that we're the viewer. We're getting to see much more than they are.
Yeah, Bench?
Sorry, do I sound funny to you guys?
Right this second, you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So mine goes to the second half of the scene with Ramsay, which actually goes to my trivia question that I had. We don't let Stannis dictate what kind of fight this is going to be. We hit fast, we hit hard, and we leave a feast for the crows. He said the title. He said the thing. He said the thing. He did the thing.
He said the thing. The thing.
The Dark Knight rises. Oh, he said it. He did it. He did it. He said it. Goosebumps.
Superman returns. But
we're going to a Jurassic Park. He said it. He did it.
We're the Simpsons. Anyway. But no, I love that line because it does show, because Theon knows, especially what Sansa put in his head last episode about everybody remembers he's a bastard. So he has to do something to prove to his father that he's worth something. So he's like, give me 20 men. I don't need a whole army. I need 20 men. I need 20 good men. And you can see Roose is like, yeah, I only had the one shot from the scene. So, but you can see Roose was like, okay, let's see what you can do, kind of mentality. So it's Ramsay sees his back's up against the wall, especially if he's getting a new brother. He's got to make these strides. So it's impressive that he's reading the scene, reading the situation, and knowing, hey, either I'm going down a ball of glory in a blaze of glory, or I'm coming back with somebody's head.
I did like that Roose kind of pushed back at 1st. He was like, "What you're saying, writing out, that's dumb." Like,
yeah. Exactly.
Like, because he gets to the point of, half of Stannis' army, the 6,000 men, half of them are on, horses. But Roose is like, well, how fucking high can they jump? They're not going to clear the walls here, right? I mean, let's use the advantage that we have. Like, why would we throw that away? We're provisioned. They're on the other side of the wall. Winter is fucking coming. Let's use these things to our advantage. And Ramsay, kind of sways his thought process, but it's not a full charge. Hey, let's put all of our men out in the field. So it's a little bit different than what
is at a no-lose situation here. Either Ramsay goes out and succeeds, or hey, you know what? My kid, my bastard son got killed. I got another one on the way.
Or if he gets captured, Roose isn't gonna care. Like, he's just be like, oh, fine. Like, okay, fine.
yeah, it is what it is.
LMR. Thoughts here?
Yes, thoughts. Let me see. I'm gonna use a cheat sheet here. What I wrote. For Ramsay, I just wanted to add the whole thing that I added here in notes, saying that I just don't need an army. I need 20 good men, and I like the way he looked at his father. Like, it was like I'm looking forward to whatever his plan is. But then when Sansa said, because that's also the scene where Sansa is talking to Theon, and I kind of got a glimpse of the evil Sansa in my head. I mean, she's not evil, but I see those glimpses of like how we would be as people if, let's say, somebody wrongs us. That evil side comes out. Like, everybody has a little bit of evil in them. Maybe not evil, but our darker side. So when she says, if I could do what Ramsay did to you right now, I would. I'm like, wow, that's cold, but kind of probably like I would react to. Just give me give me something sharp, and get him in the room and close the door, and let's see what happens. So I get her.
Yeah, I like tough Sansa. We've seen her ebb and flow on her power plays that she's made, and this is one that I think she is crushing. She's doing a great job of, not putting up with Theon / Reek bullshit. She's like, no, you're fucking Theon. Like, you're Theon. You did these things, and you need to keep, being, like, basically, it's kind of twofold, because she's basically, in his story arc, you need to not forget who you are, and we know he needs to be Reek for his own safety, but she also wants him to struggle because she wants him to suffer until she realizes, oh, well, maybe what he did wasn't quite as bad as what, like, personally to her. So the conflict that she's running into is pretty interesting as well. But I like that she's challenging him consistently to, you need to be who you are. And I know you might not know who that is right now, but stop farting around and fucking be who you are. I like it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. No, agreed. It's one of those scenes where, and as Abby was saying, once Reek / Theon was like, no, I didn't. I killed those boys. Yeah, you killed Brandon Rickon. No. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it hits her that, he's not as bad as she was made to believe. Because, yeah, when he first walked in, she was like, I don't give a fuck what Ramsay did to you. I would do everything and worse right now if I could. And then it kind of flips, and you see that light switch in her head, and it's one of those of, okay, maybe now she can realize what route to take to maybe get herself in a better position.
I didn't like that part with, I don't know if you caught it, she took like a second, like a pause for a moment where when Theon said, "Oh yeah, it wasn't them" or something, however he said it, and I'm thinking, so it was somebody. To her, I mean, to her as a sister, yeah, my brothers are alive, at least they were alive, but then I'm thinking, dude, life is alive. Why are Stark lives worth than other lives? Like, I would still be pissed off at him. I'd be like, that doesn't matter. But still, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't have anything against you as a person because you didn't kill my family. You're still a horrible person, but less of a hate to you, I guess.
And I don't mean this in a super negative way towards Sansa, but she definitely has that highborn versus lowborn. Oh, it was just lowborn. Okay, kind of. And it's not to say she doesn't care about them. It's just she tends to, she has this yeah, kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like she can compartmentalize. That's not my brother's. Okay, fine. But I do agree with you on that.
I think Sansa just has that. I mean, anybody very selfish. Thank God it wasn't my family. And I think most people have that. But I do see what you're saying. Sansa's sees a value of life difference between the low and the high, possibly. I don't really know, but it could weigh in there.
And again, this is just like the first blush, her hearing this information.
Yeah.
I mean, she just found out that potentially her two brothers,
my brothers are alive.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else matters for a second.
Everyone in this entire country has killed somebody at some point. Is kind of it's kind of what we've seen, especially like the men who've been to war. Like, yes, they've killed people. And I'm not downplaying what you're saying, Elamar, at all. I completely agree with you. A life is a life. But her first blush reaction is definitely going to be taken aback of, holy hell, my brothers might be out there. And it's hard to pull that personal touch off of it. You think someone killed somebody that you are really, really close to, and then you find out that they didn't. Yeah, it was somebody else, but it's not the person that I can actually put a face to. It's, the face in the crowd kind of dilemma as well. So, again, not saying that's right, but I can definitely see why, she's making the face she is in the screenshot right here of like, what the fuck? Like, really? Yeah. Wait a second. This is a game changer.
Laughing at that.
Yeah. I guess I just could have, I mean, they could, for me, I know the lines are like, the words are precious over there. They don't want to say something that's not important, hopefully. But like, for me, they could have added like a half a line or something to give more, like heart to her, to give her more understanding for others. Just a tiny little glimpse to make her, yeah, I get it. I'll be happy that it's not my family who are dead. But then like, oh, but still you were horrible and you deserve blah, 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 like to still yell at him or something, to do something to him or say something to him to show that she has emotions about, no, this is still not right. Doesn't excuse you or something.
She should still have some compassion and not completely let him off the hook.
Elamar, I commend you. You can get the first ever the podcast that drinks and knows things, Cranberries Zombie Award.
Oh crap! Thank you.
Listen to the song.
Okay.
It's a song by the Cranberries, and the whole point of it is, are you a zombie? There are kids dying, and we just act like nothing's going on. Like, we're okay with this. Are you a zombie? Like, it's amazing.
I need to write it down. I will. Thank you.
I bet you'll know. It's a good one.
With their bombs and their guns.
And their guns and their blood. In your head.
Let me get my children in here. They will blow you away.
It's their favorite
song.
Let's do that later.
Just kidding. That's why I know the song so well. I had to explain it.
I do have a zombies song or anecdote, but I'll save that for later.
So we'll save that for later, and we will do a quick shout out. If you have not left a comment on iTunes, what are you waiting for? Do that thing and be as cool as a White Walker.
Ooh.
Written to you by Luke.
The sweet
Glenn was supposed to be the one that read that. I wrote it for Glenn. So he'd be like, what the fuck is this? So I tried making it super cheesy, and it backfired on me a bit. But that's okay. Instead, we are going to move along. But yeah, please do leave us comments on iTunes. It's a great way to get our show out there, more exposure in the podcast realm. And we thank you all for your support in every way you do. Let's head to Castle Black. And we see Sam, Gilly, and Ollie for this scene. And Gilly tends to Sam's wounds. Ollie drops off some sup before asking about Lord Snow's intentions. LMR, why don't you kick us off here?
Well, I'm thinking, where is the little Sam? Is he roaming around somewhere around that castle eating dirt? Like that kid, I mean, I don't know what the time frame is for all that happening, but they've done some things that take more a couple minutes, I'm thinking, hopefully for both of them. They did some other stuff. They're eating. Where's the baby? Think of the babies. If the babies eat, they can crawl. I don't know how big the little kid is, but my first thought, okay, you have a kid. You're the only woman over there. The thing is not childproof, and your kid is probably still crawling.
There are ramparts. I mean, and a wall of ice.
Yeah, probably sleeping somewhere. She can have a minute to herself. I mean...
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, 18, 19 months old. He takes naps.
No. Yeah, that's even more dangerous. Oh,
yeah, trust me. I know that one.
Yes, you do. No.
Yeah. But he still takes at least a nap a day. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for Ollie, another kid, I mean, not a kid. I mean, when are you not a kid? After you see your family die? Maybe you're not a kid anymore if you realize it. So Ollie looks very, very angry and questioning. And I don't like his face. Let's just say I don't like him. I don't know if it's just his face being angry, but yeah, that I don't like Ollie.
Yeah, I will throw a book only reference here, but Ollie's being a real Bowen Marsh about this shit. It's some character consolidation going on here, and we won't really dig into that one much. Join us in however many years it takes us to get to that portion of the book series where we can see this, but that's part of the role he's playing here. Just completely disagreeing, even when John's not there, with what John's doing. He's like, he can't really be doing this, right? Like, this is fundamentally against what the Night's Watch is supposed to do. Which is fundamentally wrong from the get-go.
Yeah. And
that mentality.
That kind of goes into my note of it is I'm not really sure Ollie's worried he won't come back. You know, that look he has as he's walking out, he's like, Sam's like, oh, don't worry. John, I'm always waiting for John, or I'm always worried about John, but he always comes back, and Ollie gives a look like,
oh, great.
That's not really my point.
I can't say that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you know.
I heard you were missing, I heard you missed Jon Snow. I wouldn't say I was missing him.
Yeah.
Per se.
Abby.
I feel bad for Ollie as a person that can hold a grudge with the best of them. I get it. Like, I understand that there is, again, we have politics going on, survival going on. This is the very best way forward. And I asked Luke earlier, is that how everybody, I just assume that's what we're supposed to think, that, what am I trying to say here?
Basically what Sam gets
getting
to
together
like
with the wildlings is the best option. It's our only option. Teaming up, I don't know, I couldn't think of a word for it, but whatever. And I get being young, and he's just hurt. His whole family's gone, and it sucks.
Yeah, I definitely don't discredit Ollie for being upset. Like, of everybody, he has a good reason. Like, completely valid. Like, he literally saw the Thens go and say, I'm gonna eat your parents, like,
your mama and your papa. I'm going to eat your mama and your papa. And on top of that, Tormund is the one that was leading them, when that all happened. So yeah, for John to write off buddy with him, I can see it's technically understandable why he's trying to match John on the brooding level.
I just remember the arguments that Sam was giving him. It's like dead people are. I don't know if actually Sam said it or it was John who said it later, but it doesn't matter if they're wildling or not wildling. Dead is dead, and dead is going to be added to the army within that episode. So yeah, they killed your family. Yes, they did, and they're bad, and you didn't do anything to them. But the logic is kind of, do you want them on this side of the wall where they can't kill any more people and just kind of try to forget, or not forgive, but forget stuff, or forget whatever it is? Or do you want them there killing more people because they become undead? But then he's still a kid, so understandable too. Yeah.
Exactly.
If he killed my whole family, I'd be like, just kill me. Like, you know, why am I fighting? Why do I care?
Yeah,
I don't want them here. I hope they all die.
At the same point, okay, hypothetical. Give me some unoffensive group, just somebody from one group or a group of people from one distinction kills your family, but there's 100,000 others that are out there. Is that one group of 20 that killed your family? I understand
others being other people in Group A. Other people in Group A.
Sons of Anarchy killed your family. Now they're the only people that can protect you.
Well, I mean, but I'm just saying,
but you're a Mayan, and this is an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Sons of Anarchy are willing to work with you. Are there? It's a possibility to willing to work with you. I don't know. I haven't.
It's Mayans. Sorry, it was on my mind.
One, but exactly. But what I'm saying is, you have, yes, I understand your prejudices being brought in, but you can't see Ollie's a 12-year-old kid, but you can't see the bigger picture of, hey, not everyone from this group is like this. Yeah, you get shitheads in every single group. You hear that all the time. You have a few bad apples that spoil the bunch, but at the same time, the bunch is still fucking fine. Let them help. And so, I mean, I see Sam's point. That's what I was kind of going with, that's what Sam was trying to get to was, yeah, those ones, they kind of sucked. But the others, are probably going to be able to help us.
And I think Sam also has a really good point defending John in a few ways. I mean, he ends with the line, "I've been worrying about John for a long time, but he always comes back." I thought that was a nice, sweet line. And Benji had a good point of, that's not what Ollie's worried about. But basically, Sam sticks up for what John's doing by saying, John's doing this because he believes it's right. And it's a really tough position John's in, where in the long run what you're doing is the right thing to do, but very few people are seeing that. But guess what? John has the fortitude. John has the balls to go through and get the job done. If it's the wrong choice in the long run, he's not going to shy away from that. But at the same time, he believes it's right, and we're not just taking him in here to slaughter them all. Like, that is not what's going to happen here. And Ollie is he's just having a hard time with it, and Ollie's not the only one having a hard time with the decisions being made. So he is not alone. He's the everyman at Castle Black right now.
Pretty much.
Any final thoughts before we head north of the wall and see where's John going? All right.
Just with John being able to make those decisions, I mean, he's becoming a leader of some sort, making those tough decisions. Not everybody can make it just because it's right, or you may just go with the flow, like everybody wants to make everybody happy, or you just make the difficult decision, not for himself, but for others, and others will suffer. I'm sure. I mean, I'm saying, I'm sure. Like, you make a decision that will not make everybody happy. Somebody will suffer because somebody always has to suffer. You cannot please everybody all the time.
He's definitely not going to be prom king of the Night's Watch this year.
Well, leadership isn't about popularity sometimes.
True.
All right, so let's head to Hardhome, the titular area for this episode. Look at him. There he is. We have Jon Snow, Tormund, Night's Watchman, Lord of Bones, some wildling/free folk, and wildling/free folk elders. this is a huge, long, basically 30-minute scene.
Roughly. Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of try to somewhat rush through this and get to the bigger elements, and because there's so many individual things that we could pick apart, we'd be here for hours. There's so much visually. But this first portion of this area is John and Tormund arrive on shore and are greeted by the Lord of Boners. An audience with the free folk elders is granted. Most join, but the fucking Thens do not. Abby's over there chuckling.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name with the bones on his face? Oh, Abs.
Lord
That
of
would be
Bones.
the Lord of Bones.
It even says it in the caption
Oh.
in the screenshot. That's perfect.
This was earlier. Okay.
I know. But yeah, so the Lord of Boners is there. Benj, why don't you take it away?
So my note goes towards the end of the scene when John's talking with the free folk in the hut. He's basically saying, I lost. They're talking about the fight at the wall where Mance got taken down and everything, and he's like, I lost 50 brothers in the fight with Mance, but I'm still here. I lost 50 men to you, to the free folk, but I'm still here asking for your help. But it's interesting, and I'll drink for my interesting, that he doesn't mention, and I lost the woman I loved, who was a free woman, was one of you. He never brings that up, never plays that card. It's just something I caught that I don't think I caught the first time through, where I was like, it would make sense to me to play that card, but I can see why he wouldn't. He wants to play up the I'm Lord Commander, and this is who I, am. And I know it's not quite the same, but in Benji canon, Carsey is brunette Val. Just hands down, as hot as I picture Val, just brunette, and I give her that.
Okay.
I liked Carsey.
Yeah, she's great unnamed character that is Carsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a strong one episode running. I mean, like, I even asked, what is that girl's name? Man, she can fight. Oh, she's got to go back to the kids. Oh my God, she's not. Oh, she's dead. I mean, like, her whole character arc broke my heart. I'm like, I feel for you.
Yeah, and again, I did the screen caps for this, and she's literally only on screen for maybe 3 minutes.
Oh, it's more than that. She's in a lot of scenes, even if she's not the main.
Front.
But okay, she's the main focus for 3 minutes. But I'm saying, no, I mean, in the whole thing, maybe 5 minutes of the 30, and that's a good amount for the fast pace and everything. But she captured that amount of attention for even Abby to think that, and me still, and I'm like, damn, I was still rooting for her to kind of pull through, even knowing what's coming, because she's a badass character and a well played, but probably one of the best one-offs in as much shorter time as you get.
That I mean, I'll never forget her. I'm still trying to figure out who Roz is, but I'll never forget her. But
she had those lovely scenes where they did the stuff with the camera. I mean, they would kind of leave it or let it linger just a kind of second longer on her face.
Another Cranberry song.
Yeah, it's like, it's like I like her. Like, why is she like, oh? And like you said, the whole phase is like when you said within those 10 seconds, Abby.
yeah,
I like her too. She's dead. like really?
Like,
really?
we were gonna be friends. We were gonna be cool. We were gonna get on the Aria train. Like, come on. Dang.
Like, I promise, I'm like right there. I'm right behind you. I'm like,
And
oh, that's scary.
with the kids too. That was that one that I was just like, how could she? Like, I can see that.
And I think the lines that they gave her, I think I had it in my notes here. Let me get my note here. Because I think we're still on this scene where she says, what's his, I don't know his name, the one with shaved head with the scars on his head.
He's a new Magnar.
Yeah, the new one, because the old one is dead at this point.
Hammerhead, yep.
Yeah, so he says, like, my ancestors would spit on me if they saw me break bread with the crow, and she's like, so would mine, but fuck them, they're dead. I'm like,
fuck them,
yes.
they're dead.
Exactly.
Awesome. Just for that line, I'm like, that's my girl.
And that kind of reminds me of the one good not Egret, Shea Stadium line. There's one good Shea Stadium line where Tyrion's like, "Hey, mourn for me, cry for me when I'm dead, or if I die in battle. How would you know? You'll be dead." And it's kind of that very reminiscent of that, which is still just a great badass line. Just they're fucking dead. Who fucking cares?
Oh, how did you like? I wanted to ask you because when Tormund they go there and he kills the Lord of Bones or Lord of Boners, however you called him. Did he kill him with a bone? What did he kill him with? Was it like
his bone staff?
Bones? Yeah, I'm like that's just
killed him.
So
with
it was
shaft.
one piece. Would we say that maybe an elephant femur?
Oh, he gave him the
but
shaft.
Bone.
That's for sure.
It was kind of he died.
Well, no, I was actually talking about what the staff. If it's the Lord of Bones, he killed him with his own staff.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, was that staff like? I thought I got a shot of it, but I guess not.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but like it was a little yay long. I was thinking, maybe like a long femur bone. That's all he holds is bones. So,
well, there's fur in there too.
It's a dinosaur bone.
So I liked the quick reference to ice spiders as big as hounds. That was a nice little touch that was thrown in there, which is pretty cool. But overall, I think there was some pretty strong diplomacy from Jon here. He may know nothing, but he's learning. He knows what the free folk respect, and he's learned that. Thanks to Ygritte, thanks to spending time with Mance, thanks to spending time with Tormund as well. And it all comes down to we're not friends. We're not going to be friends, right after this. But for right now, we got to fucking work together. And at least we'll give the fuckers a fight if we can. I think this is the first time Kit's been able to actually swear. I think this is his first grade 1 curse word.
No,
I think so.
What curse word does he say?
He says, "At least we'll give the fuckers a fight."
Wow, I didn't catch that.
I think it's the first time he actually true curses.
No,
because there was
right.
the battle at the wall. I watched the commentary, which was Kit and David Bradley. No, it's John Bradley. John Bradley.
Yeah, okay.
And Ygritte, Rose Leslie, and they were talking about how Sam was like, yeah, John's character never gets to curse, and so I've been kind of watching it since then, and this one stood out to me. So I could be wrong, but I noticed it here at least.
Okay.
But overall, really, really good diplomacy by Jon. Getting to I'm not asking you to forget your dad, and LMR kind of got to that as well. Of don't forget them. I'm not going to forget mine. I lost 50 brothers, and there are blood. There's blood between us. That doesn't mean we can't get through it and work together. Because if we don't, then there's nobody left. That's the clans can't take the White Walkers out. The Night's Watch can't take them out. The Southern Kings can't take them out. We have to do it together, and I think that's a big part of what wins it. Some of the allegiance over. And whenever they finally go, Carsey goes up to Tormund, and she's like, "I'll never," she goes to Jon, and she's like, "I'll never trust a man in black, but Tormund, I'll trust you. If you say this is what we need to do, then we'll do it." And he's like, "This is the way." And it was just kind of a cool way of really consolidating everything in here and getting to the point of where at least a good portion of them are in this. We're all in this together.
Exactly.
Abby?
Tormund's the man. I like him. I don't really have much more to add to what this part going on, I guess. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
I have all my thoughts for later.
Yeah, there's plenty to get to. So let's roll right into the next one where we have kind of a bunch of overarching scenes of the Free Folk and the Night's Watchmen all working together a bit.
One quick shout out. I do love the 1-1. Just
hanging out.
Just hanging out, Tormund. Just almost a Hodor style, but just Tormund, kind of sitting back and listening. He's not dumb. He's not, but anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, it's a good point for sure. But we have the free folk board the boats. Dolorous Ed meets a giant who is 1-1, and the dogs start barking, and the gates are closed. So this is basically all the boats being filled up, people coming through the gates, and the gates being shut with the weird, whatever dust cloud, ice cloud in the background is going on. It gets really quiet at the very end there. Bench, kick us off.
There are a shit ton of free folk outside that gate. And when they were talking, where John was like, we're going to take, we're taking most of them, but really only the Thens were like, we're not coming. You would think there'd be like a line forming to come in the gate itself, but there was a crap ton of them out there still waiting. Once those dogs started barking and the snow started kind of coming over the top, it's just like, okay. I mean, there's just a lot left out in the cold. Pardon the pun,
I didn't realize like people were outside the gates really until they were closed, and then they're like banging on them. I don't know, maybe if I didn't realize there were gates there and there were people on different sides. I just saw a shit ton of people.
So in the screen cap that I have pulled up here, Ab, if you can kind of see where that, like the two houses, the huts are.
Okay. I'm getting my mouse.
There's basically the wall that we are talking about that kind of goes from about the middle of the screen from the water up into like the middle of the left of the screen, if that makes sense. That's kind of where the wall goes. Right. It's just blocking up this little harbor area.
Yeah,
and
I just didn't.
All of those little dots out there are people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good at all. It conveyed the fact like people were not able to get in, but as they pulled out and we saw just how many, I was like, whoa, hold on, wait, like where were we? And like where the gates were. I don't know if it came through as well for me. The other thought I have on the scene is, again, I will mention, I love their camo.
See, now, I actually had this thought about the camo. They're free folk. They're all separate clansmen, tribes, and all this. How are they all wearing the same goddamn thing? The exact same.
Yep, exactly.
It's just practical. It's exactly what it needs to be.
It's what they have.
But you would think there'd be some variation. Beyond every clan, every tribesman, you'd find different seal furs, different bear furs.
Somebody's wearing a fucking bone on their face, so I mean, there's some variation.
But, okay, fine, a little, but everybody's wearing.
Some other people have some weird ass shit on their heads too.
It's
like,
just,
I
get for stylistic wise, they want to differentiate. The free folk are in white, the Night's Watch are in black. I get it, but it's like, come on, people will wear different. That many people aren't going to wear the exact same goddamn thing.
At least the same cut. It could be the similar materials. Like I agree, because there's probably few things really up there that they could pull. Yeah, but there should be some stylistic changes. I agree.
Yeah, completely agree with that. When I saw it, it's like, okay, somebody in their CGI department just kind of wanted to, okay, I'm gonna copy this, that. Looks good. Day is over. 5 o'clock. I'm out of here.
I'm all for uniforms.
Yeah,
I wear a uniform every day of my life. That'd be awesome.
But their name is Free Folk. It's like,
here's your Free Folk uniform.
Here, day one of Free Folk University. Here's your uniform.
You need to go buy it from the store.
So whenever we see Carsey talking to her daughters, and she's, like, I'm right behind you. No, you're not. Like, that's one of those, like, if anytime you hear a character say, like, I promise, I'll be right there. You ain't making it, hun. Like, sorry.
I'll never let
Number
go,
one
Jack.
rule of Scream. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. Or I'm right behind you. Like, it's, it holds true. Yeah. But
or like, I promise stuff, yeah.
It is definitely touching. She seems like clearly cares about her 2 daughters here and does everything she can to get them out of here. And she knows that she's one of the leaders here, and she has a certain responsibility to uphold, which is risky, but she has to give them some comfort, to make sure that they are safe, right? So.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. I just knew from this scene, like first time watching when I saw this scene, I'm like, damn it, she's dying.
Or we're gonna have like a really epic escape. Like we're not gonna
just
know.
by the hair of her chinny chin chin.
Yeah,
making it
she'll
out.
show up in 3 more episodes. Like, and I'll be like, oh my god, cool. Yeah,
Another quick part of this scene that we don't actually have a picture of is Ed with one in there, and Ed Dollar said is like staring at the giant, and the giant is just like, "The fuck are you looking at?" in the old tongue. He doesn't really know what to say, but it was just funny.
I thought I had that one. Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's good. Other thoughts on this scene of the gates closing on the people trying to get in from whatever this scariness is.
It's what you have to do. It sucks. I mean, I would never want to be in that position, but you know what? If you're not in the gate, dude, you knew we were leaving. Why the fuck aren't you in the gate?
I don't know if this is where it comes in, but just the noise of them. It's not just like, oh, I don't what I would imagine a snow like avalanche sounding like. It was definitely screechy, birdish something. I don't know, but it was hard. You could just feel it like getting more intense, and just that noise. It's
and then the silence too. The overall sound design is pretty impressive on this
because there's very little music in this scene. Like there's very little.
There's a few key spots where it goes. All you hear is the snow and the breathing. That's that's it.
Yeah.
We'll several times.
The biggest one,
and like your own heartbeat. Like that's like the other thing that you could hear.
Yes.
Elamar, thoughts as we are about to let hell unleash?
Oh, yeah, like with the gate when you were mentioning, like I think one of the notes I had for it was usually the gates are keeping people from coming from the side of the water, right? And right now everybody wants to get out, so completely opposite function of that gate, and it was still withholding all that stuff that was happening. And the scary part about it was how they presented it, because they didn't show us right away what was happening. It was a lot of noise, craziness, and then everything went silent. That silence, like the unknown, like what's going on, and then peeping into to see what's happening there. With the what's her name?
Carsey.
Carsey. When I saw her, I think I put it in my notes saying like, "Oh, she's so pretty. She's gonna make such a pretty corpse." I don't know why that was my because they usually make them very like the eyes. I mean, even from the first episode, we see those blue eyes, and I'm like, "Oh, she's pretty. I wonder how she will look dead." And apparently, I got it. That was my first thing. I remember watching her, but I didn't expect it to happen that episode. I expected for her to die at some other point, not that episode. And then for one, what did you think about him actually speaking in his own language versus them making him speak just the common tongue? Like I preferred it this way, like where he actually spoke different language and it was just translated for us. Would you prefer a different thing? It actually spoke English.
It's truer to the book. I mean, who's gonna convince? I mean, no, you're not gonna pressure a giant into. No, you have to speak common. No, he's gonna do what the fuck he wants. Like,
yeah.
So I like it for the authenticity of it, and I think it fits, and it's just kind of cool to have another. Because language is always going to be a tricky thing to get by when you have all of these different peoples from different areas coming together. It's a constant, hurdle, an obstacle, and I like when stories don't ignore that. I mean, or cheapen it up, because it's a tough situation when you're trying to work together and you can't communicate. All right, so we are going to have the Whites join us here. We have a bunch of fun, exciting people joining us, and we are basically covering all of the scenes that fall in where the Whites begin attacking the gate and walls. There is stampeding to the boats. and the whites enter the elder's hut. LMR, take it away.
And I found that button. Okay, so when they enter that hut, I think the scene. You mean for the White Walker, right? When he enters the hut.
No,
Scene.
this is right before that. This is just kind of the whites themselves, the zombies, starting to attack the wall and climbing into the hut itself.
Okay. For that, I'm thinking one. I mean, he is huge. He can just do. First of all, how did he get inside? That was my thing. Like, I didn't pay attention to how big the door is. He kind of just at the end just kind of stormed out of there. Like, okay, did I miss a gate? Like, did he actually open it nicely, not to break it? And then he can do a lot of damage, which he does over there. Just scary. Like they're coming through everywhere. It's like insects. I was just kind of creeped out. I know they're not insects. I'm creeped out by zombies. That's my thing. I don't like zombies at all, and I don't like insects. So it was just very, very creepy experience for me watching them just kind of go over there and just bad.
Bench?
Yeah.
You're muted.
Yeah, no, I was typing something. So with this scene, I loved the practical effects on this. And Abby, when you get a chance, make sure you check out the making of Hard Home, because a good portion of this, I'd say maybe 30% are actual practical effects of people in costume, like the kid or the guy crawling under the fence in the skeleton mask or whatever, or the skeleton crawling under. That's actually just a dude in a skeleton mask with a little bit of green paint, I don't know if I got that one picture, Luke, but it's
where he's like just clawing his way underneath.
Clawing his way through. It's a dude all the way through with a skull mask, and it's just such a beautifully. This part is one of the reasons why I believe they won for best. They won an Emmy for art direction or CGI or some shit. But I think they did win something for Hard Home here, and you can tell because they were amazing with it. I had to one problem. I just little inside baseball. I do all the screen caps for our YouTube live stream here, and I had to slow the scene down to like 0.7 speed to be able to get even certain photos because it was such quick cuts. It was so fast, and that's my one of my negatives with this scene is there are so fast cuts, unlike Battle of the Wall from last season where they had long swooping shots. There were a lot of quick cuts, like 1 second, half-second shots, and it amps your adrenaline up. You're like, holy shit, okay. But at the same time, on my end, trying to do this, like, motherfucker, pause. Let me get this shot here. I want to show it off. But it was well done. It makes you, it does just intrinsically makes you get your adrenaline going, like, holy shit, they're fucked.
Yeah, totally. And I did not envy you going through these screen caps because even talking about it's kind of tough because there's so many really, really cool things to talk about. Like there's so many quick one hit, really, really interesting things. But we can't really, again, we would be here for hours just talking about this 30-minute scene. But one thing that is also really, really cool about this is, like we have Carsey and Jon Snow kind of talking in the middle of this scene as well. And she's basically saying, like, you need to be on one of those goddamn boats because if you're not, everyone, including my daughters who make it to the wall, are probably not going to be let through the wall unless you're actually there to enforce it. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of this hectic drama, action stuff going on, but they can actually still incorporate some plotline narrative along with it that they've built up 3 minutes ago. Like it's pretty decently done, and I really like that they were able to. We've kind of already shown how big of fans we were of the Carsey character, and this is a really good way of just kind of getting those heartstrings a little bit, tug a little bit more, which we know that they're going to snap them off later.
And shout out to the extras, because typically when we have one that we are fans of, I like to send out their name. Bridget, I'm not even going to Sorensen. it's a weird Icelandic style name.
Not
Bridget.
rude at all. I mean, hey, Bridget with a weird last name. You did a great job.
It's like Bridget Hjortjork Sorensen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I know I'm telling that. But she was also in Pitch Perfect 2, and she was smoking hot in that as well. So,
and a good actress.
Yeah, she is. Like I said, we said one of the best one-offs so far. You know,
Definitely.
10 minutes of screen time. She's left her mark. So,
but yeah, what 10 minutes? That's good 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of good shit here, though. I really feel like we're missing a lot of things, but we can't really do about it.
This is a hard one to do.
Well, I really like in here as like shit's going down, John takes a moment to try to keep everybody in lines. Stay in line. Walk calmly. Like, I was just like, okay, bro. Like, like we're gonna have to pick your battles. Like, yours is over there, not the lines. Like, just let them go. And that was just something that really stood out to me. Like, pandemonium has ensued, and Jon Snow is worried about the lines. No butting.
Women and children first. Get on the lifeboats. We have enough, I promise.
Yes,
Titanic, you don't. You don't.
Yeah, I was missing like the little choir, the little orchestra.
The quartet there.
The quartet. Damn it, I knew you'd come up with the right terminology.
I'm the worst.
You and your brain over there.
So let's go ahead and get to where shit gets a little more hectic. Because it just keeps getting more and more fucking hectic this whole time. And we have the McCrastersons joining us as well for this next series of scenes. Jon, Tormund, and the Night's Watch lead the resistance as the breaching starts of the wall. Jon sees a McCrasterson reunion on the cliff overseeing and heads to the hut to retrieve the dragon glass. 1-1 smashes. So, I don't know. I just remember the scene right here where Jon looks up and you see these White Walkers on horses just watching.
And
this is a scene that stayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the game changer right here. It's not just this mindless zombie attack. There is something fucking going on. And guess what? They're watching to see what happens, and they're pulling the strings on some of this as well, as you can tell. Yeah. And it's just one of those, this is a new level, a heightened sense of threat. It's not a threat. This is action, direct involvement, and this is the shit that I love. I'm so excited for this.
And Luke, with focusing on that one, it's a bad picture, but I love the symbology because there's 4 of them. There's 4 horsemen up there waiting, and it's just, we know there's more than whatever Crastersons we've already seen them, but 4 of them standing there. I love that little touch. Whoever made that decision, that was beautiful because of what came upon.
Yeah, Armageddon for sure.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite scenes, and seeing Jon see it, and Tormund sees it, and the Magnar of the Thenns sees it. It's just like, at that point,
fucking Thenns.
Even he, who we knew wasn't on the same page as Jon, he actively said, "We are not going to fight with you." This is a game changer because it's kind of like, okay, there is no doubt that this threat is something that we can handle without being together. So, kind of really cool. Again, really, really quick character arc for the leader of the Thenns as well. For what we see in the next scene here, but Abby, what else do you have on this? Anything?
Though, I mean, they look awesome. Like they look so awesome, and I just lost my train of thought. That's okay though.
Make something up.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not that smart. I'm sorry. Move on to somebody else. Yes. Be smart, Elmore, please. I get your points.
Oh my gosh, you get my points. Okay, let's do it. Oh gosh, pressure. Oh, I'm good with pressure. So yeah, they look awesome when they. Is it the scene where he walks through that darn fire?
That is coming up very
Yeah.
very
Oh
next.
my gosh. Darn it. Okay. I lost on smart.
Yeah. So
Do they fall over the? Nope, not yet.
Nope,
That's
nope.
next.
No,
Not
we
yet.
got
Okay.
we got a couple on that one.
Yep.
So my only note for this scene, this little section, was Carsey can really kick some ass. We get to see her fight, and she is holding her own, taking out multiples. I just can't wait to see what she does with actual like castle forged steel. She's fighting with iron pickaxes and stuff. It's like at this point, even though Sherry said I'll be right back, and I'm like, nope, she's gonna die. I'm like, I can't wait to see her actually live through, get that Deus Ex Machina, like Abby was saying, and pull out and, get saved and end up back at Castle Black kicking some ass with some good hard actual weapons and stuff. I know that we all know that changes, but just saying that was my first initial reaction. Like, yes, I want to see this badass chick, this badass woman, come down and be the true, kind of guiding light kind of thing. That was I'm trying to go like first instance or what I thought when I first watched it.
My overall thought of all of this was, first of all, that the McCrastersons, as you guys like to call them, they're super cool looking, and we've seen them before, but every time they're just, and it's haunting. I think it's haunting to John, and it definitely, this is, like Luke said, game changer. My other thing is how fast the whites are. And yes, we have a lot of fast like cuts, but when somebody says like zombie, and for a while I kind of got the abs, what do you think they are? I'm like, well, to me, they're kind of zombie-ish. I don't really know. Dude, zombies are not that fast. Not from what I heard. So these are even more terrifying, like fast and with purpose, instead of just like, oh, bump into something, bump into something, bump into something, that type of thing. This is like intense speed. So it makes it even more heart pounding.
Yeah. They're definitely the 28 days later zombies, or they're the fast zombies, the smart ones, compared to Night of the Walking Dead or
The Walking Dead.
Or Walking Dead. Yeah, zombies.
All right, so let's get into a little bit more hectic shit. And
good.
so John, across this kind of area, he starts seeing shit go down, and he's like, "Oh, I got to get to the hut where the dragon glass is. I got to go get that." So that's when he starts heading there. 1-1 pops out, does some smashing, which is awesome. Really feels like an Ent from that Isengard type situation when he just totally smashes this fool, and there's this footprint around the bottle, around the body. But John gets into the hut and is met by here. So right here we have new Magnar sacrifices himself, and John goes mano with Mitch McCrasterson after collecting Longclaw, but not the dragon glass. So really, really cool fight sequence. We have the new Magnar kind of saying, go find the glass, and he goes one-on-one with this White Walker first, who I've named Mitch, just for clarity. And so Mitch McCrasterson comes in, and LMR, you've been waiting for this picture right here, I think.
Let's see. Yes, that's the picture. Thank you. Thank you. I was waiting for that
I
picture.
wanted to make sure I got that one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love the colors. It's the blue and the red, and it just looks so awesome because he is frozen. I mean, frozen. He's cold, and then he walks through the flames, and it's just like nothing bothers him. So it's really cool. But also, what got me with it is like there's almost zero emotions on them. Like the whites are just kind of walking around, like not even walking, running around like crazy looking, and just anger and violence, and just I fear them on a different level. But when White Walkers, what did you name this one? Whatever his name is.
This is Mitch.
This is
Yes,
Mitch.
Mitch. He just kind of just strolls in there, like kind of cool and collected. That's the scary part, when somebody gets really cool and collected. That's when you should take steps backwards.
I
Yeah.
completely agree with you. If you are calm, cool, and collected, you will win. If you are making rash decisions, you have lost.
See, and now I do have a question really quick for Abby.
Yep.
Do you remember the white that John killed at Castle Black in season 1?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you remember how he killed him?
with the lamp, he picked it up and threw it at him.
Exactly. So this scene shows, because this is a White Walker, this scene shows fire doesn't mean shit
Oh, that's
to the White
terrifying.
Walker.
Yeah.
Because he walked up and he had that ice field around him.
The fire dies down around him.
It dies down.
Smolders, like it.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's when you see that moment, because we hadn't really seen that before, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Okay, it's one of those.
I think I even asked Luke. I said, "Did that just smolder?"
Yeah, and it took me a couple times of watching it through to actually catch that.
Didn't even think about that. I'm assuming that coming up shortly. Well, it is shortly. We get them, but
yeah, but so it's one of those like the open fire thing that killed one white, doesn't affect the White Walker, who so it's one of those. That's a very subtle way to let you know that shit don't matter. There's one arrow of the quiver pulled that doesn't work.
We need some basilisk fangs, guys.
We start collecting that basilisk venom.
Yes.
There you go.
So is a sword of Gryffindor Valerian steel?
Has to be.
No, because it's Goblin Forged.
It's Goblin Forged.
So
yeah.
no.
Okay, fair enough. It just
Why
imbibed with basilisk fame. All right, fair enough.
But if you burned the sword with dragon fire, it takes in only that which would destroy it. So it would then have the power of dragon fire.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
All right, I'm sold. Okay.
Fire.
Yep.
We need more Goblin Forge things here in Westeros as well. So let's get to that. We have this fight going on. Magnar gets killed.
Yeah.
Good job to him for sacrificing himself. It was a solid effort. Ben, you had a note there, I think.
So even the Walker was like, God, I fucking hate Thens. When, the Magnar steps up to him and he's like, God, fuck you. And he just slashes him down, breaks the sword on impact with his spear / dagger sword, whatever the fuck it is.
Kind of a halberd type deal.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the halberd. But it's, then going on later in the scene where John starts to take him on, it's like, well, I guess Valerian steel has some meaning to it, because John takes him on, he loses Longclaw, gets it back, and that shot, if you go a few, clicks forward, Luke, where
Jesus.
That's him. Oh, dude, badass. And he just coming, and this is where he's walking out. John picks up sword, bam, and that look where the White Walker's like, what the fuck?
This doesn't
That's
happen.
not supposed to happen. That doesn't happen. And it's one of those of that's the game changer, more so than the Dragon Glass, I think, because I don't even think they probably don't even realize that the Dragon Glass kills them, but for this is their oh shit moment. They got something. They got something that can work. And I love this shot. This is probably
Except that nobody can make it anymore, right?
Pretty much. There's people that can reforge it. There's people that can, rework it. But you're right. The Valerians, that you cannot make Valerian steel anymore. But I'm just saying that look right there. They don't know that. They don't know that it can't be made anymore. But all he knows is this has worked 100 times.
It's not working right now.
Right. Like yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
The White Walkers, they just look like people but then they're weird looking. Like I don't know how to describe. Glancing at them, I'm like, they just look like normal people. And then you take a closer look and you're like, ooh, kind of. Like
I've seen a few guys at the bars, that could pass for a White Walker.
Super close to these people. Super close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have the fight kind of going on right before this in the hut, and John gets up on the loft to try to kind of get away, and he also has a sword broken, right? He picks up that just plain sword to kind of protect himself, and old Mitch here, breaks the sword, and then gives him this little thump to the chest instead of just like skewering him right here. It seemed like maybe could have gone for the kill, but decided to just go for the quick knockdown here. And there is a bit of a White Walker Terminator kind of walk after John as John's leaving the hut, where he just 2 feet just jumps, lands on the ground, no effect from this 10-foot jump down. It was just like, oh, that's not a big deal. But when the music cuts out as John hits the ground from the loft, and he stumbles out of the hut, and he finds Longclaw and like goes out of the hut. This is another one of those times where they really play with the sound design here, and you can just hear your heart beating in your chest along with John's, because he's we're like, this is as desperate as it's ever really been for him. He's been in some really hairy situations, but this is one of the most formidable opponents we've ever seen, and he's right on his fucking heels. And luckily he finds Longclaw, and it ends up working. But the way it's shot and the way it's designed is one of the reasons this is one of my favorite episodes, hands down.
It was unexpected.
All right, so let's go ahead and run along to our next. We have 2 scenes left here. We have cool Papa McCrasterson witnesses Mitch McCrasterson being killed. Carsey takes out more whites and is faced with whited children before a white avalanche falls off the cliff. So not only does John kill Mitch McCrasterson with his sword, we clearly see old cool Papa McCrasterson witnessing that. And great pick here on the screenshot by Benji. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna. My favorite character, costume design, everything wise, is the Night's King. He is the scariest, darkest motherfucker. We have never said a word, at least up to this point. We've seen him. This is the second time we've actually ever seen him. But you just know he's coming to fuck some shit up, and it's just I love the design. They got everything for a character that honestly I have no clue who he's actually supposed to be. They got him right. That is fucking nightmares come to life.
Yeah, it's a really intimidating visage that they've put together, and it just builds and builds when you first see them as just in the mist on the cliff, and then you get more and more. We see Mitch, who's pretty intimidating, and now we see cool Papa McCrasterson here, who just really sells it as I mean this looks like a final boss of a video game, right? I mean this looks like the Voldemort character. This looks so many good examples. This is Bowser, right?
It's kind of actually a mix of Bowser and Voldemort.
A bit, yeah. That's true.
I was trying to think of the end guy from Dr. Robotnik, who is really hard to beat.
That's Dr. Robotnik.
Is it Dr. Robotnik?
You're thinking from Sonic. Dr. Robotnik is
I'm talking about the bean one.
Oh, the mean bean machine.
Yeah.
From Dr. Mario.
No, it's Dr. Robotnik's mean bean machine.
Yeah.
It's a Tetris style game. Elamar, what are your thoughts on this sequence here?
That picture that you got, I mean, the look, the way, the guy, for not having any lines here, he is amazing. I mean, doesn't have to say anything. And actually, if he would say something, everything would be ruined. I just don't want him, like the way he was portrayed, the actor, just the look. I don't even know who that is, but he can act. He can do whatever they told him behind the scene. Like, okay, you're gonna be going here. You're just gonna look like this, and I wonder what the line was. Portray this emotion. I wonder what they told him, because whatever they told him, he got it. There's so much scary stuff here. I'm looking at it right now, looking at that picture, and for somebody who doesn't say anything, he scares me. Because it's the quiet, it's the unknown, it's the like, what is that about? Like, if he spoke in some weird anything, I would not like it here at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of power behind something that, you as a writer would know. The less you see of your bad guy and the less you know about your bad guy, your imagination is going to fill in the blanks way worse than if he started talking and he's like, hey, that's no, like it just kind of cuts it. Like if one thing is just slightly off, it cuts the illusion, illusion of power, which we talk about in this show all the time.
Yeah.
And you keep that mystery as long as you possibly can, and it only amps up how intimidating and formidable that character really is.
That's perfectly said, Luke.
Well, thanks, Benj.
Because, you look at the great horror films of, just the 80s, or of all time. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. All three of those. The first Friday the 13th, literally, Jason was not in that movie. It was his mother was the killer, but you thought it was Jason. Nightmare on Elm Street maybe had, like...
I've never seen any of these movies. Thank you.
That's fine. I've seen them many a time.
It's a good point,
but...
Trust me.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Nightmare on Elm Street has maybe 10% of the movie is Freddy Krueger himself. Halloween has, again, 10% of the movie is Michael Myers. The first ones. Now, the rest of them, the sequels, they build it up and build it up and build it up and oversaturate. But that is a great point because you're right. This is the big bad. This is the one you don't know fucking about. And your imagination is 10 times or is 100 times worse than the reality could be. But in these instances, no, it's not. You have no fucking clue. And so, yeah, no, that's a fantastic point. And I just kind of wanted to throw those in to...
Well, it's really based in, the really simple thing that I think a lot of people can get their hands around of being afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
There's likely nothing there. But your imagination tells you it's the worst fucking terrifying thing in the world. Georgie going down to the cellar just to get some paraffin wax. And what his mind comes up with, I'm talking about it here, chapter 1. The thing that his mind comes up with, it is awful. And it's horrendous. But it's not really there, as far as we know. But Georgie doesn't know that.
And you look in a sewer drain, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. It's a clown. That's fine. They have balloons and candy and all that stuff. But good book.
So really quick, I'm gonna go with my note. If that's okay, Luke. I'm gonna go with my note on this. God damn it! I'm going a little bit later in the scene, but of course you get one cool new fucking character, and she gets fucking killed. Especially over some bullshit about not wanting to hurt kids. I get it. She's a mom. She doesn't want to, I get the mom aspect, I get the parent aspect, but it's like, come on. How many cool first-time characters, like the first time you meet a character, you're like, fuck yeah, that's the one I want to see kind of continue on. I mean, it usually takes an episode or two for me to be like, okay, I'm on board. Arya was one, like, okay, yeah, but she was designed that way. Carsey was like kind of an Arya, adult Arya, where it's like, okay, I'm on board. I'm there. God damn it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen. It still fucking sucks because I thought they would consolidate. Like, again, I kind of thought consolidation of, okay, we don't have Val, that's fine. But Carsey can kind of take that the princess role, of the wildling princess kind of thing, wildling leader, female, that John could maybe eventually still hold out hope. But just like, damn it. And I love the scene. It was very emotional, very impactful. And I understand where she was coming from, but it still sucks that it happened.
I think she kind of felt helpless. Like, no matter how hard they fight, she's just looking at this, like, millions or hundreds of thousands of people who are never going to stop coming after them. And she's going to fight. I don't know. I just think she feels helpless. And now I'm going to just start killing kids. So, I don't know. It's a hard place.
For her to kind of, she was doing just fine until she saw those kids. So people don't look at kids. Like, if anything, if you're on a, if you have a mission, just stay away from the little kids because they'll get you. They'll get you. Oh,
fucking kids!
Yeah.
God damn it!
Exactly. Get away from.
I think that was David and Dan's way of saying, "Don't have children, people." That was like their subtle hint.
They're so cute and cuddly
and full of bones and
full of bones.
No eyes.
My main note here is this damn episode. Just it encompassing, like, because this has just been going on. This is like 26 straight minutes at this point of just nonstop. Some of the craziest shit we've seen, of stuff that we've seen, we've in the back of our head have had since the opening scene of the whole fucking show. And now it's kind of like this is a flip switch for us, and I love it. I love it so much. But do we have any other notes on this before we get to our final scene? All right, I'm sure again I know we are missing so many really cool quick shot scenes here. We got to keep kind of hurrying through this. So let's go ahead.
We're already above our kind of
let's
shoot for time.
Let's go ahead.
We're doing good.
Cheers for final scene. Every episode we have one of these.
There we go. Cheers.
And cheers for the chat as well. So, final scene. The wall is breached. All flee to the sea. 1-1 logs a few more kills and escapes to the water. John looks back on those who couldn't be saved and locks eyes with cool Papa McCrasterson as he raises all of the recently fallen, including Carsey. John gets away on the slowest boat ever.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
I'm gonna just jump to the end. Sorry, guys. I feel like as he's rising the dead, he kind of has this look at like, look what I can do. Ready for it? Wait for it. Wait. Oh, here it is. Are you watching?
Mm-hmm.
You are. Okay. Like it's very theatrical, and maybe not theatrical. It's intended. He wants John to see this. He's like, I just hope you understand what we've just done here. And can they not go in the water? I saw some of them fighting in the water. Some of them were fighting in the water.
It's true.
Just saying.
The only thing I could say is, what does salt do to ice?
Yeah. Well, it'll burn your skin, that's for sure. I know that.
Because, there's no confirmation. There's no spoiler on that. I would no clue. Yeah, there were some fighting in the water, but
I did go to Hardee's once, and we had a salt and ice thing. I don't know. It was not fun. But I won.
What are you talking about, Abby?
When you put salt on your arm and then an ice cube on top of it, and it burns your skin.
Gotcha.
Oh,
I couldn't lose. I fucking won.
Never.
I have a scar. I'm an idiot.
Ouch. Children, don't listen to this.
Sorry.
I listen to LMR instead. LMR, what are your thoughts on this portion of this episode?
Ooh, I have a couple thoughts here. First of all, I'm gonna need that Night King to help me get out of bed. Like I need him to do this in the morning from time to time when I can wake up. Oh, I need an alarm clock like this. Although it's a silent alarm clock, I don't know. I need Night King in my life in the morning when I need to wake up. But then the music and the silence, and then the way John was staring at the Night King, it was just scary. And I think at one point, didn't John just kind of turn away? Do you know, like when they did the shot, like when he was kind of further in the boat, I didn't know if John was actually turning the other way, like he was in such a shock where he like stared at the Night King, and then he went like oh my God, what had just happened? It was just scary, like complete silence, no words needed to be said, nothing. The only thing that I would change is I would have 1-1 kind of push that boat a little bit, like right. Okay, he's walking past, just give it a nudge, something, make it go. I don't know. Yeah, very powerful. I loved it. The silence, the music, beautiful, scary, beautiful.
Yeah, so one thing we kind of glossed over, but I think we can kind of work it in here, was the white avalanche that we had off of the cliff.
Yeah.
Where basically we had a bunch of lemmings. The whites throw themselves off, and maybe it kills them. Maybe it doesn't. But then he just reanimates them immediately, and they started attacking there. And so that kind of
they never died. Like
we don't really know.
He didn't really do the reanimation. They just fell and woke up.
We don't know that he actually needs to raise his hands to do that. He might be doing that just to be like, oh, raise my hands and suck it, Jon Snow. Like it's I think he could be doing because
Please
he's locking eyes.
Ladies
with
and gentlemen,
John.
boys and girls,
Right? Children of all ages. But so I think it's really really cool the way that he, being cool Papa McCrasterson, owns all of this without like Elamar was saying, without saying a goddamn word. And so my only note for this portion of the episode is so good, because if you look, it just says last time, this damn episode is so good. That's all I have. There's just too much. Like if you somehow are listening to us and haven't watched this episode, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's a good show, and this might be it from what we've seen. This is, I mean, primo stuff.
You know what we need to do, Luke? Just throwing this out there. Beer Hog has never seen an episode.
This would be a good one to throw him into.
Exactly. We need to do that as a live stream. Just
that would be pretty cool. That might be worth doing.
And pretty drunk.
Yeah, well, obviously. But so my note on this is I absolutely fucking love this ending. This is the greatest show ending scene in the entire series. And I can't think of, because it's hard for me to think of season 6 and 7 because it's been a year or so since I've watched them because we've been doing this show. But from seasons 1 to now, this is the greatest episode ending because it is just so visceral, so just holy fuck. And on top of it, you get Carsey waking up. Luke, you might want to jump back to that, because I'm thinking, I know what's coming. By this point, I'd read the books. I knew what would happen, but you see her open her eyes, and you might even go one more back on that. But you see her eyes pop open, and you're like, oh, that's it. That's the one. You're like, oh, fuck. Okay, they're going to show this. Fuck yeah. But the stone cold silence, as Elamar said, except for the wind and John's breathing. That's the only sound you hear in the shots. You hear that, and it's just that realization that holy weirdwood fuck, or we are fucked. And even John's like, we're fucked. And the Night King is looking like a fucking god, and he truly is. He's just like, raise up, my children. You're mine now. And it's just so amazingly done. And I made a point to, at the very end, Luke, if you go on the pictures.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
So that's the very last, go back one. That's the very last shot. The first shot when John was showing up, if you look, it's up there. It's all scattered and everything. It's very subtle. But if you go back, it's all consolidated. They're all an army. Now they're all together. Before they were scattered in this one section. Now they're all just sitting there, staring at the Night's Watch, staring on the shoreline, ready to say, and that's not all of them. And that's the other thing you have to remember. That's not all of them. That's just pretty much the ones from Hardhome that are left. Plus maybe, let's say 5,000. Or, I'll throw it out there. Maybe 5,000. That's not all that the Night's King has. And, I absolutely love that ending shot. Just the dead silence into the dead. And I didn't watch the end credits, but can anybody say end credits were silent on this one? Correct?
There was music that came on later.
Water.
There's a chat. There's talk about it in the chat. Elamar, take it away.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, there was like you said, in the beginning of the end, there was just silence, his breathing, the wind, and there was nothing. But then, either right before or right when we see the credits kind of appearing, that's when we see this or hear this eerie kind of like weird music. It kind of creeps in, and it's perfect. It's perfect. I loved it. Mm-hmm.
And again, inside baseball, I as soon as this shot came, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Thank God I got through the episode, and it's been a long week, so I apologize. But it was one like, I'm like, all right, cool, got through the episode, but I didn't watch the credits through. So
I really do. I'm glad you did do this kind of comparison shot here, because like, look how clear it is here when you compare it to this final shot. I mean, like, you can see the heavy icy mist out in the in the distance and all of that, and like the fires have all gone out in the town portion, and it's just like the water looks about the same, a little less ripply, but it's just the whole atmospheric things that they capture,
and like I said, Abby,
really, really impressive.
Abby and anybody else, go back and watch the making of Hard Home. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it, other places. It is amazing. It's like a 30-minute long episode.
I think I have it on demand because I think I've seen it before.
Okay, yeah,
Not seen the show, but seen
it there.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 20 to 30 minutes of just this episode and of just this scene. This was actually the longest film scene until now, the season 8
whatever
battle.
They said. Yeah, we don't know
whatever
what
it
that
is.
It was
we have
like
no idea.
31 days or something. It was.
Yeah, this was 31 days and then 44 for season 8 or
That's
something.
Right.
Yeah.
So
well, let's go ahead and wrap this portion of the main part of the episode up, and episode title accuracy, Hard Home.
Yes.
I think a pretty big thumbs up. It's that definitely happened.
It got me hard at home. So
hey ho.
Hey ho.
Description accuracy. Arya makes progress in her training. I think she's making some moves. Sansa,
she's allowed to handle stock.
Sansa confronts an old friend. I don't know that they were ever friends.
Yeah.
But she does confront him and tries to force him to be his old self for compromising reasons that she is going to start working through, I guess. Yeah. Cersei struggles. Yes. Definitely. Get that girl some chapstick, please. And Jon travels. He travels he travels back. I guess. That's as vague as you could be here.
It's the biggest one, and I love it. I mean, I absolutely love that, but it's All right.
So let's get to our. I actually didn't even fill this out. I kind of forgot about it. But least favorite things. Ben, kick us off, I guess.
Ollie, just just Ollie, and that's all I can really say. I mean, I get his point of view, but he's not willing to listen. As we've talked about, I like it when people are willing to listen and heed help and heed advice. Ollie just has this resting bitch face of it don't matter. So again, I get his point of view, but it's still, Ollie's my least favorite.
Abby, least favorite thing.
My least favorite thing about this episode was that I came in extremely hesitant, on edge, thanks to all you jerks over there.
Hey, Abby, we want to record you watching this episode. Something's probably going to happen.
Super great. And I'm like, oh my God, if Ramsay finds Brienne, if anything happens to Arya ever in this whole series, done. I mean, I'm just like, who's going to go? Take out Stannis, fine, whatever. Touch Davos, I'm done. Like, I'm just like getting in here, making stipulations. And I didn't need to do that. You should just told me, no, it's like real good. So you guys were my least favorite part of this episode. Congratulations.
I like to think that we're always your least favorite part of these episodes.
Luke, I'm going to give you a cheers on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will take a least favorite part of that. So there we go.
LMR, least favorite thing.
Oh, Sansa's reaction. I was missing that one line. Just the one line that would make her more like caring about, these were not her brothers who were killed. These were just some kids. I just needed a little bit from Sansa. Just one liner would be good, and I'll be sad. But they didn't do that for her, so
yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Luke,
my least favorite thing. No Bran still. That's my least favorite thing.
See, actually, this episode, again, for as much, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, Abby, she's off ears, so that's fine. For as much shit as this season gets, this season has like my least amount of least favorite things. like it's struggle for me to even say Ollie, because again, it's not like that bad of a scene.
The thing that really sucks about Ollie, I think, is the consolidation, and
exactly.
You're not supposed to want to agree with him.
No, exactly. So it's one of those but I'm I gotta pick something, and so that's it. But this whole season, it's weird. It's the least liked season, but
there's a few very, very key reasons why that's the case.
That's true, but for the most part, it's actually a pretty well done.
There are still a lot of really, really good things that come out of this season for sure.
I'm
Hard Home being the diamond in the rough for sure.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm kind of turning around on the season 5 just absolute shit show.
So favorite thing, I mean it's hard to really pick. I am gonna go with that one shot that where you first see the 4. What the fuck is Abby wearing?
What?
Oh
what is Abby wearing?
Hang on, Abby, talk.
I have to compose myself first. Hello.
Elmar, I'm just gonna ask you to mute really quick.
No, I'll click on her. Here we go. All right, Abby is wearing a Viking helmet. Looks like mixed with Hulk Hogan.
To create your own design Happy Meal from Wendy's, I suggest you
that
go get one
from Wendy's.
Yep.
That's awesome. Very, very, very cool.
All right.
I could go get my wizard. I just keep seeing those glasses on you, and I saw your glasses. I'm gonna raise you one, a disguise.
I feel like I should just never wear these glasses again at this point.
Yeah, no, she won.
Oh, she wins. There's no doubt about that.
That's just
cool.
But my favorite thing this episode, and Abby, you have to keep those on.
All right, deal.
Is the 4 horsemen shot up on the cliff where it really escalates the entire thing from a mindless zombie attack, which is hectic. It's crazy, balls to the wall, hell on wheels as it is, and then it just completely escalates when you see these 4 McCrastersons up on a roof, up on the ledge, kind of overseeing this whole thing, and it's just one of those things that it really sets the tone of this is different than what we've seen before. LMR, favorite thing this episode?
Alrighty, my favorite thing was when that sound when John with long claw hit that whatever sword, that whatever his name is that you're calling them, McCrastersons or something.
Yeah.
When they're fighting.
The sons of Craster.
Yes, Mitch. When Mitch and John were
yes.
Just that moment, boom, and then the face, and then the sound, and John's like, "Oh yeah, it's happening," and John being freaked out in a good way, and then Mitch being like, "What the f just happened?" And then the whole thing that happened after that, their fight, and then it ended at John being down on his knees, just catching his breath, looking around like. This was like one of the best things.
Mm-hmm.
The best things. It
Absolutely.
wowed me completely.
Yeah. The walk through the fire. I mean, it's beautifully shot, beautifully scripted, and the acting is really, really well done by Mitch and by Kit Harington. Abby, favorite thing?
It's very hard to pick that for this episode. So I will just go with basically everything at Hard Home. I'm sorry, that's vague, but
I can't disagree with you.
So exciting.
Completely valid answer.
But it's even hard there because I love the Danny Tyrion thing going on. It's just a really difficult episode. I'm really excited for Danny, but John and this realization, it's even bigger, or to just have it in your face. Oh, it's pretty cool. It's and the Crastersons, they're pretty awesome looking.
Yeah, visually compelling for sure.
Yeah,
and shout out to Fandom D Saint in the chat. Cersei's scenes were incredible as well. I 3 different shots that were all really, really good, and it's tough to pick. Benj, favorite thing?
So first, I'm gonna give a shout out to Bridge4 in the chat here. 1-1's pole swipes and foot stomps.
Oh yeah,
fucking badass.
He logged some kills. That's how I had it written in there.
Nice. So, but my favorite scene is the final scene of pulling off fucking Knight's King, godding it up, raising the dead, and John realizing, oh fuck. I knew he raised the dead. I knew the dead would come with him or whatever, but he can do it that fucking quick and that many at the same time. Like, you can see that on John's face. Like, he's like, okay. And then they all fucking rise. And he's just, oh, we are truly and rightly fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no, getting around this. There's nothing. We're fucked. So, and I just love that scene and just the way it was shot. And again, the dead silence apart from the wind and the breathing, it's just nothing gets better.
Yeah. And kind of to tack on to what you were saying there of how easy and quickly he did that reminds me of a portion in the book that I won't really spoil what specifically it's talking about, but the easier the magic looks, the more intimidating it is.
Yes.
Right? That kind of goes along with the, hey, don't let your bad guys talk. Like, kind of
exactly.
discussion that we
and
had.
Also to not spoil something from, the ones that make bells and whistles and sparks and smoke are usually the signs aren't great wizards, when you can just raise your hands and get shit done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right, first time watcher on the wall. Our FTWOW, which I realize is probably good for keywords. I didn't mean it to be, because people are searching for TWOW all the time. Being the next George R.R. Martin book to come out.
Really?
The Winds of Winter. It's the abbreviation for it.
But we could actually add that into tags and just, hey,
don't
you never know.
It's not there. It's there.
It's there. But it's been there for a long time.
it's embedded in there.
But it completely, until you said something.
Right. So, first time watcher on the wall, Abby, Gertie of House Condescension. What are your predictions that you're going through here?
All right, so prediction number 1. Cersei will confess. I think she sees that as her only way out, because she will confess so she gets what she wants. And prediction number 2. Cersei 100% kills all Dem Septos. Lannisters always pay their debts.
Dem Septs.
No, she got it right. She said Septus.
I know. I was abbreviating twice.
Okay,
Yep.
fair enough.
Dem.
Cat is playing with the lampshade.
They're really making me angry. He's been digging in my leg all day.
Are you about to go berserk on them?
No, I'm not gonna.
I won't berserker.
Prediction number 3. You guys, 100% certainty. Winter is coming.
I'm
Just
capitalizing and bolding.
Yeah.
Winter is coming. There we go. All right. And do we go back and check these? No, but it's still fun to type them in, chat. Just letting you know.
Sometimes I remember them pretty decent.
Yeah.
And I like it when they come true. Let's go with Tyrion and Dany. I feel like they're a great match. I don't know, even that's not even a great prediction. Like, I think they're gonna take down Cersei. Maybe not everything, but I think they'll take down Cersei.
Okay.
That's 4. Yay.
Alrighty.
Yep, that is 4.
All right. So that pretty much wraps us up for our main episode. We are going to have our guests go through the full list of house traits. We're going to abbreviate ours because we do that sometimes. Let's start with you, LMR. I see you have almost all of these filled out. You feel like you're ready? You had a trial run at this a couple weeks ago too.
I did. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, let's do it. We'll see what maybe those who don't know, you don't know what I changed. So.
Oh, all right. So there may be some updates from the interview you and I had.
Yeah.
From the Google blackout.
Google blackout. Yeah. That was a nice.
From the dark days.
The YouTube
Oh,
YouTube has fallen. YouTube has fallen.
we broke YouTube. We broke it
That's what
for
it
a bit.
was. It was just too much excitement.
I think it was. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I think so.
What
Let's
is
do
your
it.
house name?
House. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the wrong spot.
Oh
House
my
Fate.
gosh. House what?
House. Oh my gosh, no. House Fate.
House Fate. House Words.
We rule the chaos.
Do you have a house sigil?
I do. It is a. Let me see if I can do it here. It's a heart, bleeding heart, dripping lots of blood.
House Sword.
My house sword is called Nemesis.
And what region are you from?
I kept this one, the in between.
Of course, that's a good one. I like it.
Is that God damn it, Netflix?
Stranger
that's
Things?
yeah, Stranger Things. That's not
the
Stranger
upside
Things.
down.
However strange you
Oh,
want
the
it to
upside
be.
down. Oh, the upside down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
House
No, okay.
Religion.
We do pray to gods of sex, violence, and chaos, of course.
Blood, sugar, sex, magic. Love it. Horse name.
I named him Mercy.
Mercy. Mercy, not Mercy. You know.
No,
Mercy.
no. I give mercy of death sometimes. Yeah, Mercy.
Do you have an animal?
Yes. And it's a chaotic karma cat. He's
Chaotic
really nice.
karma cat.
To me, he's nice to me. Yes.
You know, that's like, you know, you can have that chaotic friend as long as they're good to you. That's cool.
I
Yes.
don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to. I am imagining Elamar calling her horse like Uncle Jesse from Full House. Have mercy. Sorry.
And
my
here
gosh.
singing the national anthem is John Stamos' younger brother.
Don't hit that high C over E.
All right, ancestral home.
The Bloody Manor.
Bloody Manor. Hometown newspaper.
We do read Daily Word.
Famous house ancestor.
He's a good one. His name is Sherwin the Swift, and he was the one who outran them all.
I guess so. If you're here, then clearly.
Hey, it doesn't matter if I'm the fastest. I just got to be faster than you.
It'd be faster than the slowest.
Exactly.
Do you have a house minstrel or fool?
Yeah, we call him 10-Finger Willie because he kept all his digits. We could. Mercy, you know. Yeah.
What is your personal Twitter?
I checked on it because I didn't know, and I do have one. It's LM Rhapsody.
All right. Yep. And final thought on this episode?
On this episode, since my favorite scene was John and the whole fight, so I would just say don't underestimate your sword.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Benj.
Yeah, hun.
What's your house name?
I'm Slive House McLean.
House words.
It's dangerous to drink alone.
House sigil.
3 golden triangles on a field of red and black.
And your house minstrel or fool?
Nickel Wise, the singing mime.
Isn't it Nickel Dumb?
Oh yes, Nickel Dumb, the singing mime. We don't have that in there. So yes, Nickel Dumb, the singing mime.
Personal Twitter.
At Sly McLean.
And final thought.
You may be a king or a common street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper.
There you go. Abby, house name.
I am Gertie of House Condescension.
House words.
We don't quit.
House sigil.
It's a field of white with a raven sitting upon a black, up-pointed chevron.
In your house minstrel or fool?
We don't have one because we don't joke around. We kick ass. No.
We don't joke around. I love it. Personal Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at Go Home Gertie.
And
Salute.
First time watcher on the wall. Final thought on this episode.
It was a good one.
It was
Better than a run of the mill. It was
of
a
all the
goodie.
episodes. This was a
one
good
of the
one.
best. This was a big one.
This is good.
All right,
Same.
Luke, what's your house words?
I am
Or your house name?
Lucan of House Blackmead.
What are your house words?
Ours is the drink.
What's your sigil?
An obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background.
Who's your fool or minstrel?
Dingle. That's
Your
it.
Twitter?
You can find me at Luca Ferocious and at No and Drink, technically.
Yeah. And any final thoughts?
I think this is just gonna be one of those all-time television episodes. I mean, yeah, it's pretty easy to kind of forget about even how good the first half of the episode is. I mean, it's a strong episode even without the hard home stuff. It's one of those things that there's a lot of parts in there that it seems like a normal episode where they wouldn't do the hard home stuff. They would drag some of that out a little bit too long at times. But
yeah, like you would expect maybe a Dorn thing or a cut to, because who was cut, maybe a Brienne, maybe throw her in a bit. But yeah, no, you're right. It's one of those of this is a very well consolidated show, but it was so perfectly done. It wasn't overdone, wasn't. So yeah, no, agreed.
And the true final thought, the audio design on this this whole sequence is incredible. Go back and listen to the episode and you will hear your heartbeat. I promise. Like, it's a heavy, loud silence in certain areas, and it's very, very well done. So become a patron to get access to all of our epilogue episodes and some sweet stickers. And learn all about our perks at patreon.com/stayimaginary. For all of the ways you can help keep our beer bank full, check out thepodcastthat.com/support us. A super huge special thank you to one of our beautiful mods, our beautiful friends, Living My Rhapsody. Thank you so much for joining us.
She didn't even call out her book. She fucking wrote a book.
She has a book.
I wrote a book.
LMR, what is the title of your book?
Oh my gosh.
Where can people find it? Give one more shout out on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my book, Titans from the Stars. That's book 1, and it is on Amazon and in a paperback and in Kindle. And I'm still looking for somebody to read it. So yeah, we'll see. Thank you.
You have my number.
Yeah.
I do.
Same. So it's one of those. Definitely check it out. It's one I haven't, and I've listened, and I'm an audiobooker, and so I've listened to the first chapter. I'm trying to read. I just am horrible at it, but it sounds fucking awesome. And
thank you.
And from everything review and everything from all my friends, it is a beautiful book and well done. Check it out. Give it a listen. Give it a read. It's great.
I just met you on Twitter today, but I'll read your book.
Oh, I heard it's good.
It wouldn't surprise me, actually.
So
good.
So whenever I put the call out to the select guests that we had for this season, Elamar was the first person to. I mean, it was like within 20 minutes. She responded, "Okay, I picked mine," and it was. I went back. I was like, "Oh, yeah, she picked Hard Home, of course. Like, who wouldn't?" Are you happy with your choice?
I am extremely happy with my choice. I am like trying to contain myself right now. No, I'm gonna go crazy after now. Let's just say Hard Home. That was yeah. Many words. Enough said. Exactly.
All right. Well, we again thank you so much for joining us and for all of the work and effort you put into helping moderate our YouTube chat and putting the word out for us. We truly, truly appreciate what you have done for us. Barring any scheduling mishaps, join us next week when we are joined by another good friend of the show, Mackenzie L. Burns. Follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink. Send us a digital raven at knowandDrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. And until next time...
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I. That's you, LMR.
Oh my gosh, that's me. And I wasn't muted. I wasn't sure. Well, as always, I am living my rhapsody, and you should live yours.
That sounds familiar.
I know. Where
And
did I
as
get it?
always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
All right, awesome
right.
stuff. I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
Okay.
I need
One
to get some
last
sleep.
comment
Yep.
to the chat. My cats are Russian blues.
Yeah,
Good call.
I'm glad you caught that because I saw that.
Nice.
I'm really bad at doing the chat and talking. I'm a one-person type doer. So I went back up and I was like,
You said cats. How many?
I have
That is-
2.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
They're cute. So that's a good call. Anyways, I'm tired too.
All right.
Elmar, it's been real. You were awesome.
Oh, thank you. It's so much fun. I love it. It was great. Oh my goodness.
All right, big smiles, big hearts for everyone in the
Thank you.
chat. We will see you guys next week. And yeah.
OTBA, Phil H, Carl DA, Bridge for Fandom, Mike Mikeson. Just throwing shout outs here really quick. Anybody else I'm missing?
Brand the Builder has been in chatting the whole time. I know.
Yeah, anybody else? Brand the Builder, you've been here. Yeah, ton.
Lady Dane, Lady Laura
Lady
Dane.
Dane,
Been in there.
You got Dog in there?
Dog Sidious.
Dog Sidious, yeah. Felicia, my co-host on Citadel Trivia.
Rich Shatwell was in there for a little while. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in a little while.
Milt, West Jersey
Guilty.
Ninja, he popped in for a little while. Bailey Riddle.
Yep. Sydney Mook was there for sure.
Yeah.
Bailey.
Bailey.
I know.
Seeing who else? Anybody else I'm missing? And
Johnny B.
looks
Crazy
like
was in early on, couldn't stay. And that might
Yeah.
have been the first time reaction.
That was on the first time, but Mackenzie I saw popped in for a second here as well. So thank you all, everybody in the chat.
We Mike
love ya.
Mikeson. That dude's awesome. I love Mike Mikeson.
Yeah.
Just to troll me. I see you, Mike Mikeson.
Oh, Dog Sidious.
Yeah, we got dog. We said dog.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I just saw his name pop up.
So
but-
many awesome friends here. I
And if we
really
missed
like
you,
you.
we
Thank you.
apologize. Yell at us. Make
We're
sure that we feel like
assholes.
garbage because we are terrible for forgetting you. I apologize.
You know
Exactly.
where to find us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
all.
good night, everyone. And again, see you guys next time.